And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, welcome back, Jamie Foxx. It's been forever, it feels like, since April, since you left us with the mysterious medical episode, which we don't know about. Welcome back. We'll talk about his return in a moment. Also, RFK Jr. being labeled racist and/or anti-Semitic because he cited a study. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, Ron DeSantis also being labeled a racist because of what the Florida Department of Education came back with as far as Black history standards, and the people who created the standards are Black scholars, Black elder scholars. So why is somebody attacking them, but they want to attack the white man? We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, the viral video I cover of the man flipping out over his lost pension. 30 years on the job, no pension. What would you do? We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, shout out to our guy, Jason Aldean, in the song Try That in a Small Town, in the music video that had been pulled by Country Music Television. Why would they pull that song and video? What was so triggering and/or damaging about that? We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. We got quite a few things to get to. We got a full packed show on tonight's episode of ABL Live. Thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoyed the show, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. We got a lot going on tonight. There's a lot happening. Jamie Foxx. I mean, look, man, I'm glad you're back, boss, but we got a lot of questions still. But I am glad that he's back. I'm glad that he's okay. He looks great. Some say that he's a clone. It's not really him, all this, that, and the third. I don't know about all that. I'm just glad that he's back. But before we get into all the topics and whatnot in the videos, of course, first things first, shout out to the sponsors. You guys know the drill by now. Shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these internets. You can visit their website through the link in the description, or go to patriotpost.us in your browser right now. Tell them ABL sent you. Go ahead, go over there, give them a subscribe. I have an op-ed coming to them at the beginning of the week, and that's going to be a good one. So y'all please be on the lookout for that one. All right. And then shout out to my website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY. The letter B, LOGAN.com. You can go to the front page of the website and you can see each article for every video that I produce. And in the article, I'll have sources. I'll have whatever you want. Left, right, independent, agnostic, all that good stuff. All those sources will be right there on the front page of the website in the article, anthonyblogan.com. Also, go to anthonyblogan.com/contact. You can find my email address, my snail mail address, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff is right there on the website, anthonyblogan.com. And of course, as I always say in every single live show, if you're wondering if you're speaking to me on the internet and you're not quite sure, just go to the contact page and see if the method of contact is listed. If it's not listed, it's not me. Don't get scammed. Ain't nobody got time for that. I don't know if I said it before. I think I have said it before. I've been binge watching these romance scams on the internet, and people talking about they sent $100,000, their retirement, to some text online and a stock picture. It don't even be a real voice, nothing like that. You guys, please, oh, please, oh, please, don't get caught up in that. I still get emails occasionally talking about somebody got scammed and it might be something. Don't get scammed. Ain't nobody got time for that. If I post a video and you leave a comment and then someone replies to your comment under my video talking about their me using my picture, my likeness, and whatnot, saying, hey, contact me on WhatsApp or some other kind of random thing, don't do it. You're going to get scammed. And nobody got no time for that in 2023 or any other time in history. So everything will be in the box. Check it out. Go to ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com, where you can get your hats, your t-shirts, your stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more. All right. So all that good stuff is going to be in the box, or just go straight to it in your browser. Also, you're listening to a podcast right now, and it'll be available audio only on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. So we got quite a bit to get through, and thank y'all again for being here. I could not do the show without you, so appreciate y'all for joining. We got a whole lot going on. All right. Now, where are we going to start? We got quite a few topics on deck. The pension, try that in a small town, Jamie Foxx, all of that. I think I want to start with a few videos. Let's start with a few videos. I'm going to play a few videos here from Citizen Free Press on Twitter. Citizen Free Press. Y'all please go ahead and follow them. This is not an ad or a sponsor, but they do really good work. So I just want to give them a shout out. So shout out Citizen Free Press. I'm going to play a few of these videos right here. And then I got a few others that I have saved. So y'all can check it out with me. And we are going to get rocking and rolling. Hold on. Let me see. Now, I think this one might be real, but I'm going to check into it. Let me see about Jamel Hill and the Bears. Let me just double check that right quick, because it'd be a lot of fake stuff on these interwebs. I just gotta, that might not be it. Let's not even do that. Let's not even do that. It might be a fake one. All right, I got a few more here that I'm gonna play, and we are gonna get rocking and rolling. Matter of fact, not only do I have some videos, I got a couple of pictures that are pretty interesting. Oh, and I got a follow-up story. I got a follow-up to a video that I did. This is going to be pretty important in my humble opinion. All right, let's go ahead and get rocking here. So let's exit out of that, and there we go. All right, now this guy right here appears to be Hunter Biden's lawyer. Now, if your lawyer is doing stuff like this, I'm not sure that might be the guy you need on your team. And for you guys that can't see it, this guy is outside ripping the bong heavy. He's got to be, he's not a young guy. I'm talking boomer age, ripping the bong. Now, he's in LA, so it's probably legal and everything, but I don't know. I don't know about y'all, but, you know, if I see my lawyer doing certain things, I'm like, you know what? I might go to jail. I might go to the penitentiary. I might have to kiss my freedom goodbye. As a matter of fact, hold on. There was one lawyer I saw, and he had this crazy hairstyle. Wait a minute. It was this, he had auburn. I got to find this guy. Y'all know who I'm talking about too. Y'all know exactly who I'm referring to. Hold on. It was a lawyer. Yeah, I'm going to find this guy. And I forget who this guy was. Oh, here's one. But I'm going to find the other guy in the meantime. Maybe you guys know who I'm talking about. But yeah, if your lawyer shows up like this, now it's legal to have that hairstyle, but I'm not really sure. If my lawyer shows up like that, and I'm thinking, you know, I might go to the penitentiary for a while, and I'm counting on him, well, I might not be able to count on him. Okay, I might not be able to count on this guy for my freedom. All right, and that's just kind of what that is. All right, but going back to your man ripping the bong, that was one of Hunter Biden's lawyers tearing it up. So hey, man, he might be Hunter Biden's supplier. Who knows? You never know what's going on. All right. Let me keep on going here. Now, this is some art. I'm not really sure where this is, but modern art is a little bit different. You know, the Beethoven, all that kind of stuff, the classical music and classical art, those things are kind of in the past. Even the Van Gogh, who was a little bit more modern, all that's in the past. This right here, I'm not really sure what's happening. Let's check it out, shall we? Do we need sound? Oh, yes. Let's get some sound. So, I mean, is that what you really want? For like, would you pay to go see that exhibit? I'm not going to see that exhibit. If somebody says, "Hey, man, look, there's an amazing art exhibit," this guy or girl or whatever kind of gender it is, he's gonna like take a plate of some clay or butter or something like that and just slap it around. I'm not quite sure I want to see that. And be clear, he's in the museum. He, she, them, whatever. You're in the museum. People are watching. You got little kids right there. You see the kids? Okay, stop taking your kids to stuff like this because you're not really seeing anything that's enlightening. Take your child to somewhere more educational. Don't take your child. Is it butter? Okay. Don't take your child to see some random person with unknown gender slap a big pound of a few pounds of butter. That's just not what's going on. What's he doing? You can't assume his gender, her or their gender. But if you were to ask me what this person is doing, they appear to have some type of cable and he's simply slapping the butter and there's an audience of people watching them. So I'm not sure who's crazier. The guy who is slapping the butter or the people who are watching. Like, I can't really tell what's going on. Let's keep on going here. We got a lot more. Now, remember this guy? Remember this guy right here? This is the guy that keyed the car. Okay, so here's a backstory, right? Matter of fact, hold on. Let me just get this actual article up. So the backstory is this guy saw a anti-Biden bumper sticker on somebody's vehicle, and as a result of him seeing this, and by the way, this is a Democratic state senator, I believe, from Rhode Island. So he's a Democratic state senator, not a U.S. senator, but a state senator from Rhode Island. This guy saw an anti-Biden bumper sticker and decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to key the car. It's like, what kind of boomer activities are these? Okay, like I've not seen anybody get their car keyed since the year 2000, since before 50 Cent came out, since Eminem, Dr. Dre, all of them were still hot, since Britney Spears was still the talk of the town, since the Spice Girls were brand new, Spice Up Your Life, all that good stuff, right? I've not seen anyone key a car since then. Like, what kind of Trump derangement syndrome must you have to revert back to 20 years ago in your mind, 25 years ago? Just like Joe Biden talking about you're playing the phonograph before bed. Phonograph? Who's purchased a phonograph from the store in the past 35, 40 years? Nobody. But anyway, so there's an update on the story. The guy has received a punishment. It's not what I'm hoping. I was hoping big rocks, little rocks. Y'all know how I like to do. Big rocks, little rocks. I was hoping it to be that, but no, it's not quite. So let's get into a little bit of this story. I'm not going to read the entire thing. We can just get to some of the basics here. So a Rhode Island state senator who was caught keying a man's car last month was sentenced to pay restitution after admitting to the charges of vandalism and obstruction of a police officer. So he got paid for the damage, basically. I was hoping big rocks, little rocks, but no. Pay for the damage, that's it. And that's probably appropriate, but, you know, a man can only dream. A man can only dream that a Democratic state senator would get locked up at least for one day for keying somebody's car. You in the county jail next to somebody that's, selling fentanyl or something like that. Hey, old timer, what you in here for? I keyed somebody's car because I got my fees hurt about a bumper sticker, a bumper sticker. So look, here's his statement. Quote, I am truly sorry for my actions in this matter, and I'm disappointed in my behavior and lack of judgment. Senator Joshua Miller, a Democrat, told reporters outside 3rd District Court in Warwick on Tuesday, according to the Boston Globe. In the blink of an eye, I exhibited a lack of self-control that has impacted my reputation, he added. Quote, for that, I only have myself to blame, as I am solely responsible for what led to today's court proceedings. So that's the guy right there. That's your Democratic state senator keying the car because he was offended about the Biden bumper sticker. All right. It's like, man, what in the world? The world's dumbest criminals, world's most triggered criminals. So this guy is 69 years old. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if I'm a senior citizen, the last thing on my mind is keying a car. That's something that a 15-year-old girl would do to her high school boyfriend. Okay, her boyfriend turned 16. He got a brand new Mustang, bringing it up to the school, and he is two-timing her with Susie from the sock hop, and then she goes and gets her house key from around her neck and then keys his car. That's something that you would do when you like puppy love teenage boy and girl. Not to be 69 years old, sir. You're about to be 70 years old doing stuff like this. What are we talking about? So he's got to pay $2,850 in restitution to the vehicle owner and donate $250 to the Rhode Island Community Food Bank. If Miller does not commit any more crimes for the next year, the case will be expunged from his record. Expunged? Really? Nah, I wouldn't say all that. I mean, I would just say just pay restitution and have the case be on your record still. Have that case be there. All right? And you know what would be funny is if he actually reoffends, if he goes and sees yet another bumper sticker. How about if he was to see a bumper sticker that said, try that in a small town, and he just completely loses, he completely just melts down to the floor. Try that in a small town. I'm offended. That's offensive. I'm going to key the car. Imagine that. I would not be surprised. Now, the Rhode Island Republican Party chair called for Miller to resign, and he said the plea deal is disappointing, although not surprising. Correct. So it was a plea, right? It's another case of politics as usual in the Ocean State, Joe Powers told Fox News. In pure Rhode Island political fashion, another Democrat gets off with a slap on the wrist and retains his chairmanship of the powerful Health and Human Services Committee and committee assignments with no recourse. Yeah, you do something like that, there should be some kind of punishment within your party, but I guess what he did was not really a thing that they really are tripping about too much. All right, so I guess that's what's going on, but we could keep on rocking and rolling here. And shout out Citizen Free Press again. Now, here's something interesting. The Brits have built a massive barge to house 500 plus non-citizen men. The men will be allowed daily access to the small city of Weymouth. All right. So let's check this out. The Bibi Stockholm, a barge which will be used to house migrants, has left Falmouth Harbor in Cornwall. Imagine being on something like that. That looks kind of familiar, doesn't it? It looks oddly familiar. A lot of people on something small like that in the water. I don't want to say what it looks like. I can't say what people, shout out Kanye West. The 3-story vessel is set to dock in Portland and Dorset and will house over 500 asylum seekers. So it looks oddly familiar. Man, y'all can just put 2 and 2 together. That's pretty interesting. That's an interesting solution for a migrant crisis. Put them out there on the boat. All right. Yeah. Hey, somebody said it right there. I ain't gonna say it, but you already know kind of what's going on. Now, here's another video I have for you guys. Texas teacher cries and plays victim to NBC because she is no longer allowed to indoctrinate children. This is a little bit longer here. And this type of thing is going on all over the country. This is in Texas, mind you. It's not just, this is Texas.
Across the country, teachers are calling it quits, teeing up a shortage. But besides low pay and burnout, there's now something else pushing them to leave the jobs they love. Antonia Hilton reports.
Teacher Emily Ramser.
On the same day that high school English teacher Emily Ramser won an award for being an outstanding Texas educator, she stood in front of the Grapevine Colleyville School District to tell them why she was among dozens of staff members resigning this year.
This community has continuously harassed me for the past few years, to the point that there were days I didn't even want to be alive anymore, much less be a teacher. So I'm going to listen to what I am hearing from this community, which is that y'all don't want people like me, people who might be gay, to teach here.
Might be.
School districts
might be like, is you ain't, like, what's going on? I know what you is. You got a little bit of a hunchback going on, but I digress.
Across the country are facing a teacher shortage, fueled by burnout and low pay. But in Texas, many blame politics. Last year, Ramser's district saw a 40% jump in resignations and retirements after new conservative school board members pushed to remove hundreds of books and restrict lessons about race and LGBTQ identities.
Okay, see, this, again, we're talking about NBC. Now, the thing is, a lot of the LGBTQ stuff is pornographic in nature. I don't think that children should have access to any kind of pornographic material, regardless of what, if it's LGBT or straight or anything like that. Okay, let's talk about reading, writing, and arithmetic. Why are we learning about all this extra stuff? That's why a lot of these kids don't know anything as it is. I think I have one of those. I may have one of those videos where they're talking about one of these man on the street interviews. I may play one of those. Because these man on the street interviews where they ask simple questions: how many continents are there? How many presidents have there been? Who's the vice president? People have no idea, but they know all about LGBTQ, elemental P, X, Y, and Z. You see, what are the priorities now? They know all about this nasty stuff, all about the gender identity, all about race, but they can't add 2 + 2 and get 4.
I've taught these kids for years to write and to grow their voices. And I'm not going to let my actions say something different.
Ramser, who identifies as queer, says she was asked to change some of her lessons and to remove classroom artwork and rainbow stickers. Then, one afternoon last year, a parent told a local news site that Ramser encouraged her child to become transgender by lending her a book called The Prince and the Dressmaker.
All I did was give a kid a book.
What when?
Okay, so the teacher gave the child a book that is encouraging transgender behavior. Now, this is textbook grooming. And you know what? I'm not even sure if the teacher even understands what's going on, because she may have been groomed herself to be LGBT. So she's just doing the exact same thing. You have no idea what's really going on.
Through your mind.
I was terrified. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think.
The mother who accused Ramser declined to speak with NBC News, but the child and her father say the allegations were false, that the child already identified as transgender. The district cleared Ramser, but never made a statement for her to the public. The district declined to respond to NBC News about this specific case, but acknowledged it has more openings this year than last year, saying many other school districts, not only in Texas but across the nation, are also experiencing this declining retention rate of teachers and other employees.
Well, hey, you know what? If the teachers are leaving because of this, because of they can't groom the kids, and that's a good thing. That's a great time for people that want to actually teach children and have the best interests at heart. This is the best time for them to swoop on in and pick up the pieces, pick up the slack. 100%. Absolutely. All right. So let's keep on rocking here. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Now, speaking about mainstream media, MS-13 DNC, Comedy News Network, China News Network, Clown News Network, etc., CNN is having to admit some harsh truths. Here's a caption from Citizen Free Press. CNN can't hide the truth. Quote, Joe Biden is second most unpopular president in modern U.S. history. Jimmy Carter was the first. So they're even admitting how unpopular he is. All right, let's check it out.
In something titled, "Why is Joe Biden so unpopular?" Andrew Romano writes that at this point in his term, Joe Biden is the second most unpopular president in modern U.S. history. Jimmy Carter was the first. Romano cites polling data from 538, where Biden's approval rating 910 days into his term stood at just 39%. In something titled, "Why is Joe Biden so..."
I mean, they're having to admit that he's very unpopular. I don't know nobody asking the question, why is he unpopular? The man is 1,000 years old. He's not doing anything right. The country is not in the best shape. Inflation going out of control. The economy is not the way that they are trying to say. He's stumbling and bumbling, falling on the ground. Why would he be popular?
Unpopular. Andrew Romano writes that at this point in his term, Joe Biden is the second most unpopular president in modern U.S. history. Jimmy Carter was the first.
Yeah, so they even having to admit what's going on. They're having to admit it. It probably pains them to say it, but come on. Like, we all know what's going on with this guy, what's going on with the Creep Veep. We all know what's happening with your man, Creepy Joe. And Mr. Music says, battle of two Democrat presidents for who's most unpopular. Not a surprise. Exactly. Two Democrat presidents. Right. The Republican presidents are pretty popular. All right. They are pretty popular. 100%. All right. So where are we going to go next here? We got quite a few things going on. Let's go to RFK Jr. Speaking about mainstream media and stuff like that, let's go to RFK Jr. Now, RFK Jr., what he did was cite a study, and then they want to call him racist, anti-Semitic, etc., for simply citing a study, which is completely ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Let's go ahead. I have a couple things here. I'm going to put up the original video and then what the media said about the video. And it was crazy because I remember the video that I'm going to show you. I just happened to have my TV on and it was just on in the background. I don't even know how I got on ABC. It was just on in the background and I heard this and I'm listening to it. I'm like, really? Because I already knew what the real story was. I heard every single thing that they omitted. I heard what they omitted, you understand? So I'm listening to the story and I'm hearing them skip past details that would give you the full situation, that would give you the full context. That's what the media does. They lie about omission all the time. They neglect to give you all the information. They'll give you a cherry-picked version of what the information is and say, hey, we didn't lie. Yes, you did lie. If you're not telling me the full story, you're giving me bits and pieces intentionally to craft a narrative that is lying because you're being deceptive at best and outright lying at worst. Now, here is the video in question that has people upset and triggered and butthurt. Then we're going to get to what the media said, and we're going to see how these two things link up. And of course, I have an article on my website that has all these videos in full. If you want to see them there, let's check it out.
And we need to talk about bioweapons. The level, I know a lot now about bioweapons because I've been doing a book on it for the past 2.5 years, and you know, the technology that we now have to develop these microbes, we've put hundreds of millions of dollars into ethnically targeted microbes. The Chinese have done the same thing. In fact, COVID-19, there's an argument that it is ethnically targeted. COVID-19 attacked certain races disproportionately. The races that are most immune to COVID-19 are because of the structure of the genetic structure, genetic differentials among different races of the receptors of the ACE2 receptor. COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese. But we don't know whether it was deliberately targeted that or not. But there are papers out there that show the racial and ethnic differential and impact to that We do know that the Chinese are spending hundreds of millions of dollars developing ethnic bioweapons, and we are developing ethnic bioweapons. That's what all those labs in the Ukraine are about. They're collecting Russian DNA, they're collecting Chinese DNA, so that we can target people by race. And
so basically, he's talking about a study. He's speaking about a study, and the study was just talking about different races, how they're affected. So it wasn't even anything that he said himself. He was not trying to say that the virus, if you're a Jew, if you're a Jewish person, or if you're a Chinese, that it was designed to spare you. It was nothing like that. It was like, this is just what the data say. That's all. That's all that it is. Nothing more, nothing less. So why make it be something else? Why make it be something else? It's because they fear RFK Jr. They know that he is a viable threat to Joe Biden.
Here in the U.S. now.
And I don't know why he has to be attacked for being a threat. Anybody could be a threat to Joe Biden. Anybody can be a threat to Joe. If anyone wants to run against Joe on a Democratic side, they are a threat, because this guy is not popular. This guy is barely hanging on by a string. He doesn't really know what's going on. I have some video of Joe Biden. I'll play that in a minute as well. But here is the news clip. And I watched this when it was being aired live. And I was like, really? Is that what they're going to say about RFK Jr.?
Here in the U.S. now, into Capitol Hill, where Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who was challenging President Biden for the Democratic nomination, argued today that he is not a bigot after a controversial recording of Kennedy surfaced. Here's Mary Bruce.
Today on Capitol Hill, Robert Kennedy Jr., the Democratic presidential candidate and son of the Kennedy political dynasty, called by Republicans as their star witness in a hearing on government censorship.
I am being censored here.
Kennedy, who has espoused bigoted anti-vaccine conspiracy theories, now on the defensive after he was caught on camera saying COVID-19 may have been ethnically targeted to attack certain races disproportionately.
COVID-19, there's an argument that it is ethnically targeted. COVID-19 attacks certain races disproportionately. COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese.
Kennedy today accusing his political opponents in the Biden administration of trying to shut him up.
Anti-Semitism, racism, these are the most appalling, disgusting pejoratives, and they're applied to me to silence me.
But Kennedy.
So let's go back a little bit. So this was during a hearing about social media censorship and also government censorship. And he was laying out truth bombs all throughout the hearing. That was a very good showing from him. And if he was not a Democrat, he would have my vote. If there was no Trump and he was not a Democrat and he had other points of view, he'd have my vote for sure. All right. Because he did very well. Matter of fact, I put it to you this way. If I was a Democrat, I'd most certainly vote for RFK Jr. 100% out the way. If I was a Democrat, he would 100% have my vote over Joe Biden.
These are the most appalling, disgusting pejoratives, and they're applied to me to silence me.
But Kennedy's own sister, Carrie Kennedy, is speaking out against him, saying, "I strongly condemn my brother's deplorable and untruthful remarks." Still, RFK Jr. today, defiant.
In my entire life, I have never uttered a phrase that was either racist or anti-Semitic.
But the White House strongly disagrees, saying Kennedy's recent statements are vile and put Americans in danger. And they say the president will always speak out against these kinds of false claims about Asian and Jewish Americans. David.
Mary Bruce.
But what are the claims that he made? He was simply referencing a study. It was a peer-reviewed study. You know what's weird? They always talk about trust the science, believe the science. But then when someone literally cites a scientific study that they don't like, or if the person behind the study, if the person cited the study is somebody that they don't like, then all of a sudden it's racist and all kind of other stuff. It's like, well, Y'all said trust the science when Anthony Fauci was going around spreading misinformation about C19 and HIV/AIDS and whatnot in the 1990s and 1980s. Everybody said trust the science and believe in him. And then when the things that he did caused irreparable harm all over the globe, not just the USA, everybody said, oh, you're racist if you think that he did something wrong. But then when it comes to RFK, simply citing a study that's available on the U.S. government website, all of a sudden he's a racist. It's ridiculous. Completely and totally ridiculous. But I digress. Now, we have many more videos, of course. Let's go to some RFK stuff. I'm going to play some clips from RFK, and then we're going to keep on rocking and rolling. If you like what you hear so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. Now, here are some of the truth bombs from RFK during the actual hearing.
Trusting the experts is not a function of science. It's not a function of democracy. It's a function of religion and totalitarianism, and it does not make for a healthier population. Trusting the experts is not a function of science. It's not a function of democracy. It's a function of religion and totalitarianism, and it does not make for a healthier population.
Boom. There it is right there. That's what I was talking about, the whole trusted science thing. It's like, well, we got to be able to ask questions. We got to be able to get down to the bottom of things. We got to be able to figure things out. That's what science is about. To say trusted science is anti-science, because science is a study. We got to figure things out, and we got to talk about stuff. That's just how it is. So he's right on point when he says that, 100% on point. And of course, again, the Democrats don't like that because they like compliance. They like you to be a sheep or a lemming. They like you to be controlled and just go one direction, one linear path. They don't want you to branch off and try different things because you cannot be corralled, you cannot be controlled. They don't like that kind of mentality at all. All right, now here is something else. All right, let's check this out. Oh, matter of fact, I'm not gonna play this one. I'll play the beginning of it. It's like a little documentary type thing. So I'm not gonna really play this, but just the beginning of it.
I don't believe there's a single person who signed this letter who believes I'm anti-Semitic. I do not believe that.
So what happened right there was a letter that the Democrats wrote, and then they all signed it talking about RFK Jr. as an anti-Semite. This reminds me of the letter that was signed about Hunter Biden, you know, the 51 intelligence officials that said that the laptop was Russian disinformation. Remember that whole thing? It's what they do. One person will write a letter. They might even chat GPT the letter, and then they'll say, hey, everybody sign this, and we're going to present it to the mainstream media. Then the news is going to say 100 Democrats rebuke RFK Jr. RFK Jr. sister comes out and rebukes him, and she signed a letter. They're going to have that be the main thing, but it could have been chat GPT'd. They could have signed it through E-Verify from a click on their phone. Boom, I signed it. So the whole thing might have took 5 minutes to draft, 5 minutes to sign, and now it's a whole big story. And now he's got to sit in front of a congressional hearing and answer to it. That's how we are doing things in 2024, right? Now, here we go to the next one. This is about government censorship. This quote right here, regardless of left, right, Democrat, Republican, this right here was a golden quote. Check it out.
A government that can censor its critics has license for every atrocity. It is the beginning of totalitarianism. There's never been a time in history when we look back and the guys who were censoring people were the good guys. All of us grew up reading Arthur Koestler, Robert Heinlein, Aldous Huxley, George Orwell, and they were all saying the same thing. Once you start censoring, you're on your way to dystopia and totalitarianism. A government that can censor its critics has license for every atrocity. It is the beginning of totalitarianism. There's never been a time in history when we look back and the guys who were censoring people were the good guys. All of us grew up reading Arthur Koestler, Robert Heinlein, Aldous Huxley, George Orwell, and they were all saying the same thing. Once you start censoring, you're on your way to dystopia and totalitarianism.
Boom. Boom. That's right on it. That's right on it. I mean, regardless of what, like I can My man right here is like, oh, you spitting. See, the facial expression is just like, yeah, you got it right there, man. You telling the real thing. Look, I can admit when someone is telling the truth. I don't care what side of the aisle they're on. I may not like a lot of what RFK is talking about. Some of the climate change stuff I'm not really a fan of. Some other things that he says I'm not really a fan of. But that right there is right on point. Nobody can really say that he's telling a falsehood. You know who does not like what he's saying? Mainstream media, leftist politicians, deep state people on the right. Okay, they don't like what he's saying. And speaking about deep state people on the right, I have a video of your favorite rhino in the whole world, right? This guy right here, remember him? Remember your guy, Mitt? Remember? Now, for some reason, he has a glizzy, a hot dog, as a cool kid say, they call it a glizzy, and a hot dog hat. Now, the context, I don't know. But let's hear it.
Well, as you all know, today is National Hot Dog Day, and perhaps you also know that hot dog is my favorite meat. I love hot dogs. I love them in buns. I love them outside of buns. I love them with baked beans. I just like hot dogs. It's the best, best meat there is, without question. So to all of you who, like me, are celebrating National Hot Dog Day, congratulations to you, and may there be many, many more hot dogs served in our wonderful land. Well, as
I don't really understand. I don't really get it. Come on, Mitt. Like, what are we doing? Glizzy Goblin? Like, what's going on? That's your guy. Now, here's a video of some people throwing some stuff on the conveyor belt in airport, I suppose. These jobs could easily be replaced by AI, robots, and whatnot tomorrow. If you're ever wondering where your package went, why you don't have your luggage, check this out. See? You just see that one? That one right over the edge right there. Look at this. Watch. Right over the edge. Not even on the conveyor belt. You got any kind of precious items? You want to have a bottle of wine or something in there? You want to have a bottle of wine in your bag? Good luck with that. Yeah, that's not going to work out too well. A bottle of wine in your bag ain't going to work out too well. Any kind of precious item, anything fragile. All right? They're over there just having a good old time slamming your stuff on the ground. All right? That's kind of what's going on with that. I'm drinking Red Bull right here in the front. Red Bull, no sleep, and just having a good old time. Look, stuff all on the ground. Yeah. See, that's exactly why I do carry-ons. I almost never check my bag. Almost never. All right. So now I'm going to get to the pension payments in a minute. I'm going to get to that. So y'all please hang tight. Oh, here's one. This is a new service that provides handy workers that are female, lesbian, and trans. So, they normally say handy men. You need something done at your house. You need your ceiling light replaced. You need, some home improvement type things. You can't do it yourself. You call it handyman, right? Well, we're not going to have handy men because that's sexist. That's racist. That's xenophobic. That's homophobic. We're going to have handy workers. All right. And then it won't be anybody that identifies as a man. It'll be men there. You know what the funniest thing would be? The funniest thing would be is if in this service we're supposed to be quote unquote all female with biological men. It'd be funny if the biological men who identify as women still get the most work. Okay. You're gonna have Tina Two Man Taylor in the dress. Tamina Taylor, she gonna be getting all the work. Meanwhile, it's gonna be really a man up under that who's been in construction for the past 25 years. All right, let's check it out here. This is in Berlin, Germany.
I need to install the chandelier, but I don't love being alone with traditional handymen. So I called Berlin's non-traditional handyworkers. The Driller Queens are 90% women, trans, and non-binary. They want all customers to feel safe with the person coming into their home and to provide jobs for diverse craftspeople in this male-dominated field.
In the handyman industry, there is an almost complete lack of diversity, inclusivity, or anything like this. It's also a problem for really talented people that want jobs in the industry.
They also made sure I felt empowered to help out. Clearly not just men's work, so why still hire cis men?
You don't create inclusivity by excluding people. When we get everyone involved, we can literally take over the world.
All right, so there you have it. So are you going to hire a handy person, a handy worker, or are you going to get Frank from down the block that smokes Newports for a living who will get your garage door opener fixed immediately, instantly? You got some handiwork you need to get done. Okay, you having some plumbing issues. You need to get your drywall hung. Look, I'm calling Frank down the block. He has one Newport that's like right here, corner of his mouth, that don't go nowhere. He's going to get it done ASAP, pronto. It won't be any kind of problems. Meanwhile, I got to call these people over here that are more focused on gender identity and political stuff. They're not going to get anything done. They're going to come to your house and just cry and complain, act a fool, false accusation. Ain't nobody got time for that. Let me call up Frank. Let me call up Jesus and them from Home Depot. They're going to come through and get it done immediately. Okay, if I need a whole house painted, drywall, all of that foundation work, they're going to get it done lickety split. Meanwhile, them over there, they're not going to do it. Somebody said they're going to take Frank. There you go. That one Newport hanging out loose right there in the corner of the mouth, they're going to go ahead and get it rocking and rolling. All right, they will get it rocking and rolling. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Now, speaking about workers, male workers. Let's get to the video of the person who lost their pension after 30 years on the job, lost their pension. Now, there is some cursing, so if you got little kids, hide your kids, hide your wife. There's a little bit of cursing, and I can't really censor it, but let's go ahead and play it.
This man went on an emotional rant because he could lose his future accruals of pension benefits.
Nobody here tell me why I get emotional. Why you talk like that? That's fine. That's fine. You can do that. You don't know where I'm going to do that. I want to this motherfucker. Exactly. I mean, 30-something money. Yeah, I agree too. 30-something years. You tell me I ain't got no fucking pension.
So if you can't make out what he's saying, there's some captions on the screen on this video, but the general just say, I've been here 30 years or more, maybe a little bit less, probably 30 years or more. He's been there and no pension. Now, if you are at a place for that long and you expect a pension, you probably are there that long for that reason, because you could go somewhere else. You could move, do something, but you stay loyal to one company thinking that it's going to be a pension. But then when it doesn't arrive, you're like, okay, now what are we doing? And people are just standing around watching them, his coworkers or whatever. They can't do anything. They got their hands in their pockets, just kind of like, well, what are we going to do? Because they're powerless. Now, let's see if they play the whole thing here, because you're going to hear somebody in the background try to explain to him what's going on.
Nobody tell me to calm down. Everybody tell me to calm down.
Now, somebody says, didn't he get paid every day? Well, yes, but that's aside from the point. The point is that you will work a certain job because then you're going to get a pension. Like, I almost did that. When I wanted to be a firefighter, the goal was to work there for a certain period of time, get paid and take care of myself. But at the end of the day, I have a pension. So when I get into my advanced stage, I'm not worried about trying to have an income and things of that nature. When I get to be into my senior years and I'm not able to physically work, I have a pension. That is the whole thing. And my father had that. He had a pension when he retired, and he was able to live on that, plus like another job, a small little part-time job. That was a plan, because if there's no pension, you're going to think differently. If there's no pension, what you're going to do is find other work and other ways to be able to make money rather than that job right there. You're going to plan your life differently, okay? So if you are promised a certain thing when you sign on a dotted line, like when you go to work and they say, okay, we're going to pay you X amount of money per hour, and then the money's not there, it's like, wait a minute, you're violating the agreement. The same way, if I signed up to a job I worked for 30 years, to say, okay, at the end, you're going to get a pension, and then there's no pension, you're violating the agreement. So regardless of what, you told me one thing, and then it wound up being something else. That's not my fault. That's your fault.
God damn it. This is my motherfucking money y'all playing. You're right, Dwayne. That shit.
Trucking firm Yellow Corp failed to make a $50 million payment for health and welfare benefits for its employees.
Pardon the robot voice. Now, I don't know if the man in the video worked for Yellow, but he could. And it doesn't really matter if he worked for them or not. The point is, if Yellow is not making their pension payments and they're not able to make the pension payments, then you're going to have a lot of guys who are just like that. A lot of these old timers on the road, a lot of these OTR truckers who expect to get a pension and they don't get it. It's like, so what did I do for the past 30 years? I was working for one company. I was dedicated. I was loyal. I didn't leave. I didn't move. I didn't make any other life change. I thought I'd be able to be here, work, provide for myself and my family, provide for the company. And then at the end, I get screwed.
$1 million payment for health and welfare benefits for its employees. As a result, employees are not accruing any more pension credits, unless the company and IBT come to an agreement by this Sunday. This is a concerning situation for 22,000 workers. They are planning to strike next week. This man went on an emotional rant because...
So yeah, that's what's going on. So Yellow, they may strike. If they're not able to get their pension funded, then they may strike. Yeah, that's exactly K. Graves' pension went to pay Ukraine's pension. There you go. All right. We can support what's happening in Ukraine to the tune of, what, 41 billion? I think I saw a statistic, a specific number where they were talking about this. Let me see if I can find it right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Oh, yeah. So here's what I found. Let me go back here. Here's what I found. This is on Breaking 911. Put this up right quick. Breaking 911, they say that U.S. gives Ukraine new $400 billion military aid package. U.S. has given $41 billion since invasion. $41 billion. For what? Ukraine is not going to win. And to be totally frank, can I give you a hot take right quick? Can I give you a hot take? Did he get fired, Amber Lopez? 30 years on the job and get fired? That's crazy. Why would you get fired after 30 years? Why not just be given the opportunity to retire? 30 years? That's ridiculous. What could you do that would get you fired after 30 years in the job? That's crazy. But I digress. So somebody said $100 billion. It could be $100 billion. They're saying right here, $41 billion. Now, my hot take is that there is no such thing as Ukraine. Ukraine is not really a real place. Ukraine is nothing but an offshoot of Russia. It's the same people. It's the same people fighting each other. It's like a Slavic civil war. These are the same people. Can I say that? Is that wrong to say? These are the same people. Kiev and Rus, way back in the day, that's where they all came from. They started right there in what is now known as Ukraine, Belarus, and then the Baltic states, Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, etc. They started right there. That's where the Slavic people came from. And then some of them decided to go out to Moscow and St. Petersburg to expand their reach. That's what created what we now know as Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and the Baltic states. It's all the same people. They're fighting each other because of outside forces, because the European countries, NATO, EU, they want Ukraine to be a NATO nation to bully Russia into doing whatever they want them to do. Oil prices, energy, whatever. They already have Finland as part of NATO, which is right there on the border, and they have the Baltic states, so they could put a naval blockade right there to block off St. Petersburg, and somebody destroyed the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. I wonder who did that, wink, wink. Anyway, they're trying to just be aggressive towards Russia. Now, when I say that, oh, you're a simp for Putin, ABL, what does that mean? I don't really care nothing about these people. I'm just talking about the reality. These are the same people. Ukraine, Russia, ain't no difference. Tell me the difference. Ukrainian language, Ukrainian and Russian is like West Coast English and East Coast English. It's the same thing. UK English and American English are probably more dissimilar than Ukrainian and Russian, in my humble opinion. It's the same people. It's a Slavic civil war egged on by outside people. They shouldn't even be fighting. What Trump say? I want all the dying to stop. Unnecessary dying being egged on by outside forces. It is what it is. I don't care. I don't even really care. I just, you know what I don't want? I don't want us to keep sending them money. What are we doing? All we're doing is just trying to hurt Russia through Ukraine. That's it. We're not trying to help Ukraine. If we wanted to help Ukraine, we would just say, y'all got to go ahead and surrender to stop dying. Just go ahead and surrender. Yeah, I'm definitely triggered. Somebody said it right there. I'm triggered. So I'll move on. I digress. All right. Do we have more here? Of course we have more. We have many more clips to get through. We got to the pension. We got to a few things. Oh, let's go to try that in the small town, shall we? Now, Jason Aldean, try that in the small town. Have you guys heard that particular song? Have you seen the music video? All that good stuff? All right. Now, I'm going to try to play some of this on my stream. I know it's going to be risky because it's music, but I'm going to play like little pieces of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some of it. I'm going to play some of it, and then I'm going to turn the music off, but then just play the visuals in the background, right? That's what I'm going to do, okay? Oh, we're going to get Jamie Foxx in a minute. Y'all please hang tight for that. I've not forgotten about our guy, Jamie. Not at all. But, so here's the controversy. Jason Aldean, country star he's in Nashville, Tennessee right now. Had a restaurant out there and everything. But Jason Aldean has a new song called Try That in a Small Town. Now, they're saying, when I say they, I mean mainstream media, people that get offended, triggered, butthurt, all that. They're saying this song it's a lynching song. They're talking about, it refers to sundown towns. Basically, they're trying to say this is a song that would encourage whites to attack blacks, which is completely ridiculous. The riots and whatnot he's talking about in the song were largely white people that were involved with it. Antifa, BLM. When you see the crowd of these people, it's mostly your white liberals, your blue hair, they, them. It's mostly them out there. When you have the Cop City riots out there in Atlanta, Georgia, and you saw all the perps that got arrested, 98.9% white. Go to Portland, Oregon, go anywhere in the country, it's the same thing. The Antifa people, I saw them out there in D.C. when I was there in 2020, right during election time. Okay, I didn't really see too many black Antifa members. Okay, that's not really what I'm seeing. Even BLM is mostly white as well. If you get to like a majority black city, you see more black people in BLM, but it's not really that way. And we know by the top of BLM, your Patrice Cullors and whatnot, they're making a bunch of money, hand over fist, buy large mansions, big large money, black lesbian Marxists. You already know what it is. Okay, they're getting big money, BLM. And I said it before how, so they spent $10 million on real estate. And then when they went bankrupt, they said, oh, we got a $10 million shortfall. So the shortfall just happened to be the exact money that you lost out on or that you invested into real estate. Anyway, let's check it out. Try that in the that right there, just that line right there is right on point. Try that in a small town. You're going to cross that line, recommend you don't. We have been saying the exact same thing on social media, on live streams, everywhere for a long time. When Antifa come to a particular place, what do? They go to a city area, loot the downtown, harass people, all kind of stuff. Right? But what do? We're like, yo, in our neck of the woods, in our town, whether you're black, white, Puerto Rican, candy stripe, we say, hey, man, we're ready. Because remember when they were talking about, oh, we're going to go to the suburbs next. It was like, okay, good luck with that. don't go to no small town. Don't go to no suburbs, because we're not going to just let you do stuff. We're not going to give you space to destroy, as Stephanie Rawlings Blake said many years ago, speaking about BLM and Antifa. We're not going to give space to destroy. You come to our small town, come to our community, we're ready. We are trained to go. TTG. We got guns, we got knives, we got whatever we need. Okay, so don't come here. Now, the media were trying to say this is an ode to vigilantism. It's about trying to enact violence against people. How is it trying to enact violence when we say we're going to defend ourselves? How is that a call to violence? Hey, don't hit me or I'll hit you back. Oh, you're inciting violence, huh? I'm saying do not hit me. Do not touch me. That is the main thing. That's the point. That's the issue. It's very simple. Try that in a small town. When you cross that line, it won't take long. Exactly, Hans Ketchup. If you don't start nothing, there won't be nothing. That is one of the oldest sayings in our society. And that goes for anybody. I don't care what color you are, what gender you identify as. You can come to my front door with a bunny outfit on and a pistol. You might as well be a space alien. I don't really care too much about what you got going on. All I see is your threatening stance at my front door. And hey, we know another phrase. The more you F around, the more you're gonna find out. And that's what the song is about. Don't start none. Won't be none. Leave us alone. We'll defend ourselves. For you to find out, I recommend you don't. Hey, you know what? That's a good question, Suri K. So rap doesn't incite violence? Of course, rap incites violence. Of course it does. If we're gonna say that this song right here incites violence, rap most certainly incites violence. But it's okay. It's okay because the media has not told you to be offended at rap. But this right here is offensive for some reason. Although it's not in any kind of way harmful. It's not in any kind of way trying to incite violence or glorifying violence as a lot of rap music does. I can relate to that for sure. I can relate to that. Got a gun that my granddad, a gun that Paul Paulin gave me. Shout out my man Cal Rittenhouse. Shout out to everybody. We all can relate to that. You come from a small town. Me, I'm from a small town. Okay. Rand, West Virginia, 1,000 people. All right. No stoplights, no stop signs, no nothing. And you know the funny part is that people don't even know that you could be a non-white person and live in a small town. Like, I was on Twitter one time talking about West Virginia, and then there was this guy, this random white liberal talking about, oh, you're not from West Virginia, you're a liar. It's like, why am I lying about being from there? Why? Because I'm black. I can't be from a small town. I can't be from the country. I can't have that happen. I mean, come on. From Georgia, this was the Cop City riots. This is Antifa, 99% white. So we're talking about if we're going to go about what the media thinks in their ridiculous pea brains, they think that this is a song to encourage whites to attack these so-called protesters. And I guess they're trying to say they're black or something like that. Meanwhile, they're white. And if the towns are going to mostly white, you're talking about white on white. So why are black folks in it? It's because they want you to believe a thing that's not true. You got Granddad Shotgun, Chris. Shout out to you, Chris. Out there in the small town. If I had some bombs out, drop them right now, like Funk Flex, New York City. The summer anthem, try that in a small town, Jason Aldean. The media don't like it. Oh, they triggered. They super triggered. Let me see if I can find some MS-13 DNC reaction to Try That in a Small Town. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. Try That in a Small Town. MSNBC. Let's see what they say. All right. Let's see. Right-wing fantasy, everybody's after them. Expert on Jason Aldean song pulled from Country TV.
You might have noticed that MAGA Republicans like to censor minority communities in America. They say they don't want woke ideology shoved down their throats. So they do things like cancel Bud Light for sending a can of beer to a transgender influencer, which led to Kid Rock shooting a case of the beer, even though he was still selling it in his bar. They canceled Target because it dared to sell Pride Month merchandise, and they outlawed drag queens.
Whoa. We just kind of skipped right past that. The Pride Month merchandise. So we're talking about chest binders and genitalia tuckers for children. That might be a bridge too far. I suppose. We ain't talking about just Pride merchandise. We ain't talking about just like rainbow t-shirts. We're talking about things that are way beyond that. We're talking about physical, mechanical stuff in the garments. Binding, chest binding. That's a bridge too far for a toddler.
Pride Month merchandise, and they outlawed drag queens because they don't like something that people have been doing for centuries.
So has child grooming been going on for centuries? If that's the case, then that shouldn't be a thing that we celebrate. Okay, ain't nobody trying to cancel drag queens. You want to be an adult and go to a drag show in Nash Vegas or somewhere like that, then go ahead. Ain't nobody trying to stop no adults from having their particular fun. But why must they always read to children? They can't go to an old folks home and read to them. They can't go to corporate America and read to them. Why they got to be in front of little 2 or 3 year old little boys and girls? And why they got to have 10-year-old boys dancing around as drag queens, getting money put into their little garter belt? This is sick, disgusting type stuff. Why try to downplay it? What are we even doing?
Now they're going after the new Barbie film, which folks over on Fox claim pushes, quote, toxic femininity and China. I kid you not. According to Senator Ted Cruz, Barbie is pro-China propaganda because of a crayon map depicted in the film.
I have not seen the movie. I've just seen the stupid map. This is really designed for the eyes of the Chinese censors, and they're trying to kiss up to the Chinese Communist Party because they want to make money selling the movie in China.
Canceling has become their thing, but don't dare say a peep about the new music video from country singer Jason Aldean, which says this: cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag, and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough. Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're going to round up. Well, that stuff might fly in the city. Good luck. Try that in a small town. Music video shows Aldean interspiced with news clips of protests out of context.
Out of context? That's the whole fiery but peaceful protest. Is that what we're talking about right there? All right. Now, these lyrics, what's wrong with the lyrics? Cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stop on the flag, light it up, think you're tough. So he's talking about, he's saying people do stuff like that. It's like, you think you're tough? Well, don't do that over here. Don't spit in the cop's face. Don't, do all this crazy, ridiculous behavior.
1927 mob lynching of an 18-year-old black with news clips of protests out of context. It promotes vigilantism and was filmed in front of the Maury County Courthouse in Columbia, Tennessee, the site of the 1946 Columbia Race Massacre and the 1927 mob lynching of an 18-year-old black teenager.
So because somebody died there, somebody got killed there 100 years ago, like are we saying that's the same? So we're talking about riots that feature mostly whites attacking these cities. And you're saying Jason Aldean is a white guy trying to send dog whistles to other white people? It's so weird. But this is what they give you on MS-13 DNC. This is what they're being fed. Okay, my man got the Easter colors on television. That's crazy, but whatever.
I guess he doesn't know that because many conservatives are canceling Black History too. Joining me now to discuss is
canceling Black History. That's a great segue, shall we? That's a great segue into Ron DeSantis. Now, they're trying to say that Ron DeSantis is canceling Black history because he does not want to have LGBTQ element of P, X, Y, and Z stuff. He does not want to have that kind of stuff linked into Black history. But why is that a bad thing? Why is it bad for me to say, you know what? Let's focus on Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, Reconstruction, the real history of slavery. Let's focus on those things. Negro League baseball. Let's talk about that stuff rather than drag queen story time when we're talking about Black history. Why am I going to an AP Black history course and being taught about RuPaul? What are we doing? How is that in any kind of way relevant? How was that in any kind of way relevant at all? It's not. So they had to revise it. They were trying to say that he was banning Black history. No, Black history is mandatory in Florida, but we're not going to have that woke stuff to go along with it. Now, there's a new thing where they're talking about slavery, and they're talking about slaves had certain skills. Now, people get so emotional, they get so butthurt, they get so triggered. I'm a very unemotional person. I got an ice box where my heart used to be. Ain't no heart right here. That's an ice box. that's an ice box. I don't really care. I'm like, yo, let's get down to the truth, shall we? Now, I have some footage. Matter of fact, I have a statement, and I have I got a video, statement, pictures, all of that about what DeSantis said. Now, can we get to it? I'm going to show a news clip, and then we're going to just break down what's really in the news clip. All right? This is going to be from your main man, Jonathan Capehart. Jonathan Capehart is on MS-13 DNC, if I'm not mistaken. And he has a very interesting personal life. Oh, and also Kamala Harris gave her 2 cents. All right? Now, let me get some pictures of Jonathan Capehart loaded up right quick so you guys can see who I'm talking about. I'm going to reveal that in just one moment. I got to get a safe for work picture of this guy. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. All right. So let's check it on out. And there we go. Perfect. Load it up.
Adults know what slavery really involved. It involved rape. It involved torture. It involved taking a baby from their mother. How is it that anyone could suggest that in the midst of these atrocities, that there was any benefit to being subjected to this level of dehumanization?
That was Kamala Harris, the country's first Black vice president, in Jacksonville, Florida today, saying something that should not be up for debate. The vice president's speech comes as Florida faces backlash over new standards for teaching Black history in public schools. Those standards require middle schoolers to learn that enslaved people, quote, developed skills that personally benefited them. The State Department of Education has responded to criticism with a statement that reads, in part, the intent of this particular benchmark clarification is to show that some slaves developed highly specialized trades from which they benefited.
We're going to read this entire thing in just one moment, and we're going to also, you see, there's people that wrote this. This statement is from Dr. William Allen and Dr. Francis Presley Rice. I'm going to show you who they are. I'm going to reveal them, and then it'll all make sense. All right? It's going to all make sense.
That statement lists 16 people who allegedly benefited from their enslavement, but at least 6 of those people were never enslaved. It specifically names Ned Cobb, and while the Department of Education is not specific about which Ned Cobb they have listed, history books across the country teach about a Ned Cobb who was born in Alabama in 1885, the son of an enslaved man. The skill he learned was farming, and he used that skill to escape the financial binds of sharecropping.
Okay, so you just said it right there. He used his skills he learned during sharecropping to get out of sharecropping. Like he used those skills to escape, to get to a better place. Because some are going to say, but that don't really count. sharecropping ain't slavery. But then at the same time, they say sharecropping is slavery. They're so weird. At the end of the day, the whole point is about using skills that you acquire to get out of a bad situation. That is the point. If we're not trying to glorify slavery, we're not trying to say it was a good thing. We're talking about just using skills that you acquire to help yourself get out of that situation. If you escape or purchase your freedom, what are you going to do when you leave? How did you get to purchase your freedom? How'd you make money? What are you going to do to be able to do something for yourself? Okay, we're back in the 1800s, early 1900s. Ain't want no welfare or nothing like that. You had to actually do things to be able to make money. And how you going to learn it? It is what it is. Let's keep on going.
If you can call that a personal benefit.
Yes, if you were to escape slavery or sharecropping or something like that, you benefited. That's the truth.
Joining us now, Tremaine Lee, MSNBC correspondent.
We're not going to watch Tremaine Lee. We're going to get to your man right here. This guy is Jonathan Capehart, okay? Jonathan Capehart, this is his husband. Oh, yeah, you ain't know? That's his husband right there, the white man. Looking like Opie, you know what I mean? Looking like Dennis the Menace. Looking like he can hit you with a slingshot from 500 yards away. That's him right there. Married to the white man. Now, I was trying to find a picture of these guys that was safe for work. These guys kissing and hugging and carrying on. It's always like that. The guy that talks most about racism, white this, white that, blah, 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 blah. Always married to the white man. Don Lemon, Corinne Jean-Pierre, married to a white woman. Always. They're always like this. And I don't really care who you marry, who you with, if you're gay, straight, or whatever. That's your business. I'm just saying the people that talk the most about all this race stuff always do this. What is the reason? Are they projecting? Are they insecure? Look, whoever you love, if they love you back, nothing but love, nothing but support for me. But don't bring your insecurity to my footstep and make me deal with it. Don't do that. All right. So that's him. That's Mr. Capehart and his husband. All right. Now, here's that statement that we just saw. Matter of fact, hold on. I'm going to get it out a little bit more here. So let's read the statement, and then we're going to show you who wrote the statement, because that's pretty important as well, because they want to say that this thing came from Ron DeSantis, but it actually came from two people that are not Ron DeSantis. Let's check it out. So statement is from Dr. William Allen and Dr. Francis Presley Rice, members of Florida's African American History Standards Work Group. All right. So check it out. Quote, every standard benchmark or benchmark clarification was developed using a methodical process within our workshop. Our work group began in February and worked through May to ensure the new standards provide comprehensive and rigorous instruction on African American history. We proudly stand behind these African American history standards. Now, let's continue. I was going to stop right there. There have been questions about race language within the benchmark of clarification of standard X, Y, and Z, which as instruction includes how slaves developed skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. The intent of this particular benchmark clarification is to show that some slaves developed highly specialized trades from which they benefited. This is a simple fact. If you were a slave, and as a slave, you were a blacksmith, and you used that blacksmithing skill to work on the side and be able to make money legitimately, not slave money, and buy your freedom. And once you bought your freedom, you went out and became a blacksmith in a free part of the country, or you went somewhere else, you benefited from that. Does that mean that slavery was good? No. Does that mean that you had to have slavery in order to succeed? No. It simply means in your circumstance, in your situation, you were able to develop a skill that helped you gain your freedom and have a better life later. That's it. That's it. And nobody can say that's false. Nobody can say it's false. You can say there shouldn't be slavery, right? You're right. You can say there shouldn't have been there in the first place. You're right. But you can't say I'm wrong when I say that. You can't say they're wrong when they say that. And they listen to people right here. They read those earlier, Booker T. Washington, etc. Crispus Attucks. Shout out to him. Shout out to the Addicts Theater, Norfolk, Virginia. These are famous people. These are people that I heard about as a kid. Okay. As a little boy, I heard about Booker T from my home, West Virginia. Went to my family's church in Malden, West Virginia. Crispus Addicts. There's a theater named for him in Norfolk, Virginia, the Addicts Theater. These are famous people. John Henry. These are famous people. So why act like that's not really a real thing? Anyway, any attempt to reduce slaves suggests victims of oppression fails to recognize their strength, courage, and resiliency during a difficult time in American history. Florida students deserve to learn how slaves took advantage of whatever circumstances they were in to benefit themselves and the community of African descendants. Okay, so what are we talking about? It's disappointing, but nevertheless unsurprising that critics will reduce months of work to create Florida's first ever standalone strand of African-American history standards to a few isolated expressions without context. We encourage everyone to view these robust standards for themselves. That's the full statement right there. Now, you tell me, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? And watch this. All right, watch this. These are the people that wrote it. Do you see them? Huh? Okay. Dr. William Allen, Dean, Madison College at MSU. That's him right there. Is that a racist white man? Is that Ron DeSantis? Is that some kind of uneducated person? Is that some kind of fool? No. This is an educated black elder, an academic, a scholar. And then you have Dr. Frances Presley Rice. These are legitimate, real people. And of course, she was in the military. You see, she's decorated military veteran, a doctor, a scholar. They wrote it. They were on the board to create the standards. So you got a bunch of these white liberals talking crazy about these prominent, educated elders in the black community that wrote the standards. So I don't understand. It's just kind of weird to me. It's totally weird to me. All right. So that's that. Anybody got anything to say? I think not. All right. So here is DeSantis talking about that, and then I'll move on to the next topic.
Get your clarification on one thing within the policy. It says instruction includes how slaves develop skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. Could you just explain why?
Well, you should talk to them about it. I mean, I didn't do it, and I wasn't involved in it. But I think what they're doing is I think that they're probably going to show some of the folks that eventually parlayed, being a blacksmith into doing things later in life. But the reality is all of that is rooted in whatever is factual. They listed everything out. And if you have any questions about it, just ask the Department of Education. You can talk about those folks. But I mean, these were scholars who put that together. It was not anything that was done politically.
There it is. There it is. What are we talking about? You have scholars do the scholarly work. You know, like the people that put the LGBTQ stuff in there were like, who are those people? Those are the same ones that will teach your kids about LGBT stuff, and your kids can't read it all. When they get to be 15 years old, they can't read it all. They read like C-Spot Run, and they're struggling. They get C-Spot Run put in front of them, and they're putting fingers up on the line. C-Spot Run. They're not going to know nothing. All right? It's a mess. So, yeah, shout out to DeSantis. Shout out to everybody out there. And shout out to Jamie Foxx. Now, let's get into Jamie Foxx. I am glad that he's back. It looked kind of shaky. It really did look kind of shaky. He had a medical episode back in April of this year. Back in April, and we've not seen him since. Now, Jamie Foxx is a famous actor. We all know who Jamie Foxx is. He was in Ray. He was in And Live in Color. He was in quite a few movies, TV shows, things that we know and love. He's also a singer, talented singer. He got a song with Kanye, Gold Digger. That's him singing on Gold Digger. Yes. Am I right about that? I think that's him. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm saying the right thing. Yep, that's him in the Gold Digger video, Jamie Foxx. He's been around for a very long time, acting, singing. He's also a comedian, had a radio show called The Foxhole. Very talented person. Now, he had a medical episode in April of this year. Now, in his update, he did not tell us what happened specifically. That's still a question. We don't know what happened. We don't know what the medical episode was, but there were rumors. Rumor has it that there was a stroke that could have been caused by the vax. That is a rumor. I don't know it to be true or false. All that I do know for certain is that there was a medical episode which took him a long time to recover. Again, the incident happened in April of this year, and now we're about to be in August. He's just now coming out and saying something. Yep, you guys saying it right there. In Living Color, he was Wanda. On Living Color, he was, he did a lot. So he goes all the way back to the early 90s as far as being in the entertainment industry. But the rumor has it that he had a stroke and it could have been vax related. That's the only thing. All right. Now, let's check out what he says right here. And we keep on rolling. Oh, some are saying that he got cloned because, okay, a coincidence is that there's a movie coming out that he's in called They Cloned Jerome or Tyrone. Hold on. They Cloned Tyrone. Yes, that's the name of the movie. Let me just put it up right quick. Let me go get to the video in a moment. So the name of the movie is They Cloned Tyrone. This is from a couple days ago on Variety. So They Cloned Tyrone review. Jamie Foxx and John Boyega. Okay, we got ads and stuff. Jamie Foxx and John Boyega in a sociological sci-fi nightmare. So that's Jamie right there in the back in the purple suit. There's your man John Boyega, and I don't know who that is. I think that's I forget her name. I know who that is. I can't think of her name right now. What is her name anyway? I don't know. Y'all probably know who that is. But yeah, so a movie about cloning, and all of a sudden they're talking about you were cloned, and now you want to come back and say something when the movie comes out. Anyway, let's get to this right here.
First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody that's prayed, man, and sent me messages. I cannot even begin to tell you how far it took me and how it brought me back. I went through something that I thought I would never ever go through. And I know a lot of people were waiting, or wanting to hear updates, but to be honest with you, I just didn't want you to see me like that, man. I want you to see me laughing, having a good time, partying, cracking a joke, doing a movie, television show. I didn't want you to see me with tubes running out of me and trying to figure out if I was gonna make it through. And to be honest with you, my sister Deidre Dixon, my daughter Corinne Marie saved my life. So to them, to God, to a lot of great medical people, I'm able to leave you this video. I cannot tell you how great it feels to have your family kick in such a way. And y'all know they kept it airtight. They didn't let nothing out. They protected me. And that's what I hope that everyone could have in moments like these. Now, by being quiet, sometimes things, get out of hand. People saying what I got. Some people said I was blind, but as you can see, the eyes are working. The eyes are working just fine. They said I was paralyzed. I'm not paralyzed. But I did go through, I went to hell and back. And my road to recovery had some potholes as well. But I'm coming back, and I'm able to work. So I want to thank the people that let me work. And I just want to say that I love everybody, and I love all of the love that I got. And man, I know they talk about people crying on videos. You can do take two, but I'm not gonna do a take two. It is what it is. And if you see me out from now on, and every once in a while I just burst into tears, is because it's been tough, man. I was sick, man, but now I got my legs under me, so you're gonna see me out But like I said, I just want you to remember me for the jokes that I crack, the movies that I make. Some of them good, some of them ain't. I think I got a good one out. And the songs that I sing, man. And then, you know, somebody was talking about I'm clone. Well, check this out. Just kidding you. Not clone, man, but I'm here on earth because of some great people. I'm here on earth because of God, man. So I love all y'all. I just wanted to jump on here and let you know that I'm on my way back in love.
So there you have it. Now, people are saying all kinds of things. Now, my opinion, is it real? In my opinion, yes, I think it's real. I don't see any signs of AI. I think that is him. Some say he might be a bit pale. I mean, he could look a little pale, maybe, but I think that could also be the lighting. He's on his cell phone, recording himself from the selfie camera in a room in his house. It might not be the best lighting. I'm going to look different depending upon how I record myself, whether I'm on my DSLR right in front of me or if it's on my regular cell phone or whatever. It might look a little different. Some say his head looks different. But what I don't see is any kind of signs of artifacting, no signs of any kind of mechanical interference. I don't think it's artificial intelligence at all. Some of those, to me, are a little bit easy to spot. But this one, I don't see it. I think this is legitimate. It's him. But what I don't know is what happened. That's the main thing. And shout out to the polo shirt. Loving the polo shirt, Jamie. All right, Polo Twins. But I don't know what happened to Jamie. That's one thing he didn't say. He said he went through a lot. There's potholes in the road to recovery. I don't know if we're going to get that information anytime soon. I like to have it. I like to know what happened to Jamie Foxx and the details behind it. But we have what he have. We have what he have. We have what we have. I like to get more information though, for sure. There were so many rumors. The family was saying he's playing pickleball, all kind of stuff. It's like, okay, if he's playing pickleball and he's okay, then why can't we see him? All I wanted to see was him do this. He didn't need to do a Good Morning America interview or anything like that. That's not necessary. Let's just see him on camera. Let's just see him be able to give us a few words. That's all I wanted. I didn't really want too much anything else. That was the main thing. So I'm glad that he's okay. We were worried, and we were like, okay, what's going on? We were worried, but also very curious about what's going on with your guy. You know, we're like, well, what happened? We still don't have that part, but we do have this here, that he's okay. That is the main thing. So a lot of you guys saying that I'm reading some of the comments, not all of you guys, but I am seeing clone and AI and all kind of stuff. I don't know about that. And I don't think we're at the state of clones being mainstream quite yet. I don't think we're at the place where you could just put a clone out of a person and then that be them. I don't think so, because if that could be the case, they would have cloned your man Joe Biden. Why they ain't clone Joe Biden? This guy is bumbling and stumbling around. Is the clone malfunctioning? Is the clone not working right? Like, what's going on? If they were going to clone anybody, it should have been him. And they got plenty of time, opportunity, and space to do it. When he goes to Delaware or Camp David or something like that, and he lays in the basement, all they got to do, put him on the machine, put the clone in the next machine right next to him, and just like do a little 3D printing. 3D print him right quick, and then send him out there to the public. And he still might look old and whatnot, but it ain't gonna be no more stumbling, bumbling, crumbling, falling around, falling on sandbags, not knowing where you are, losing your space and your place and your thoughts. There won't be any more of that. So if they've not cloned Joe Biden, they have not cloned Jamie Foxx. Okay, I think one guy is probably higher on the level of importance of trying to clone than a great actor, a great singer, great talent in entertainment. But your president might be a tad bit more important, just a little bit more important. Now, if they did clone Joe, why is his clone not acting right? Why the clone ain't really? Why is the clone malfunctioning so much? That's my concern. Like, the clone technology must not be that good. It must not be all that, for real. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. So, yeah, the clone's not a real thing. But shout out to Jamie. I'm glad that he's better. All right. I'm most certainly glad that he's better. I'm glad that he's able to kick around. I want to see him do some more movies. But of course, I do want to hear what happened. I don't want to just have that be a rap and say, okay, we're not going to know anything. I want to know what happened to Jamie, for sure. All right. Let me see. I'm reading some of the comments here. And thank y'all again for being here. I appreciate y'all. And let me get to some more video before we get to the supers and the calls. Yeah, we got quite a bit. I'm gonna try to find the one video of it was creepy Joe basically pretty much just melting around the stand. Wherever he was, he just couldn't really do too much with himself because I don't know. This guy's just not really available. His mind is not really available to really access anything appropriately. All right. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. Let me see. One Biden clone speaks fine, but the other one stumbles and bumbles. Second one is out in public more often. Okay. So they got a couple of them. It's like one of them is not really working too well. You know, it's like having two cars. It's like, okay, you got two of the same car. One car worked perfectly fine. Ain't no transmission problems. The engine running good, but the other one got the engine knocking and the alignment is off and everything else. That's crazy. But nah, I don't think we're at the level. I don't think we're at the stage of having clones yet. I don't think that's really a thing. Could it be in the future? Possibly, but I don't think we're there. I think we got a lot of technology we don't know about quite yet, but that's not really one of them. That's not really it. Okay, here's what I wanted to find right here. This, I think, will do the trick. All right, let's check it out. Your man. Your man, 81 million, right?
How many times you read that a recession's coming? Even Wall Street today said, no, they don't see a recession coming now.
Huh?
How many times you read that a recession's coming? Even Wall Street today said, no, they don't see a recession coming now. How many times you read that a recession's coming? Even Wall Street today said, no, they don't see a recession coming now.
What is he saying? What is he talking about? I don't know. And he's always like in Philadelphia, Wilmington, Delaware, which is like right outside of Philadelphia. Are you going to go anywhere else, sir? I mean, he may go overseas occasionally, but when he speaks like in front of a place that's not DC, he just goes home. Philly is right there next to Wilmington. You can't go anywhere else. Is he going to campaign in Philadelphia? Is that going to be the campaign headquarters? So whenever he speaks on the campaign trail, it's going to be in Ukraine trying to get money for them, or is it going to be in Philadelphia? He can't go to anywhere else in the country? I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. Like, I could understand Trump going to Miami or something like that, but why Biden going to Philly? It's weird, but whatever. Biden, well, not Biden. Trump is a front runner still. Trump is a front runner despite all this stuff they got going on. Oh, I almost forgot about that. We got the date for, we got Trump's court date, May 20th, 2024. All right, for the whole classified documents case. And we know what's going on with that. I'm gonna pull up some dates right quick, some specific days on the calendar that are pretty notable, because that's pretty important to understand the context in which this whole thing is being done. All right, let's go ahead and pull those up. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all the good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okie dokie. So here we go. Here is the announcement.
So we got some breaking news with regard to former President Donald Trump. The judge in that case, Eileen Cannon, out of Fort Pierce, Florida, has set a trial date for the 20th of May. So that's a good 6 months prior to the election in November, on November 5th, 2024. The president and his team, they've been arguing, they want to punt this thing past the election. Dana, you could argue right now, if you're within 6 months of an election and you get close and you file certain motions, you might be able to get your wish in the end.
You might.
Because it's that close.
I think what she did here was sort of split the difference, right? Because the prosecutors were asking for this trial to go much, much sooner. The Trump team was trying to get it farther past. And she's been under the gun, right? As a judge, people have been questioning her loyalties, not her capabilities, but really her loyalties, because she was appointed by Trump. So anyway, this is now set for May 20th. We'll see if that holds. But even though that's 6 months before the general election date, that's quite a ways after Super Tuesday, when Republicans should have a pretty good idea of who their nominee is going to be.
And we're going to have other cases before that as well. They're going to pop up, whether it's in Georgia potentially or here in New York.
Yeah.
In this particular matter, Trump faces 37 counts that include 30 violations of the Espionage Act over allegations of withholding documents with regard to national security. That's the allegation that he was keeping at Mar-a-Lago and was not.
So there we have it. The court date is set for May 20th, 2024. Now, obviously, that's right during the primary season. That's right during the 2024 presidential campaign. The objective here is to keep Trump tied up in court action so he's not able to campaign effectively. That is the obvious goal here. Now, here are some dates, right? Shout out Charlie Kirk for posting this right here. So here are some dates happening in 2024. So January 15th is the Iowa primary. That's the first one. March 5th, 2024, Super Tuesday with 12 state primaries. And then in May 20th, 2024, that's when the trial date is set to start. Now, that could change because his lawyers are going to be on the ticket, on the case. They're going to try to get this whole thing pushed back. They're going to file motions. They're going to file all types of things to try and move this away from then, right? They're going to move it away from then. That's their objective. But you see when this date is. Now, what they were saying in the clip is that some wanted the trial to be earlier, like right around the Iowa primary time, because the objective is to get the trial done and get a conviction, which you're not going to get. But they want there to be a possibility of a conviction and incarceration before the actual November election. This is literally election interference. They're talking about Russia interfering with the election. This right here is election interference. Why would you bring Trump up on charges for things that others do not get charged for in a similar situation? Hillary Clinton basically did the same thing that they say Trump did, but she did not get prosecuted. Hunter Biden is going through investigation for that right now. He did the exact same thing they said that Trump did, but there won't be any kind of penalty for Joe Biden. They're dragging their feet at best. At best, they're dragging their feet. At worst, they're simply just kicking the can down the road, and they're going to eventually never do it. All right? They are trying to interfere with the election because if they can get him in court, he can't be on the campaign trail. And if they get a conviction, then that would deter people from wanting to vote for him. But understand this. Let's say this right here. Let's just get it out there. A lot of normies might be afraid to vote for a guy who is going through court action and or could be convicted or might even be convicted, which I don't think is going to happen. Even if Trump goes to jail and gets convicted of a felony, that does not preclude him from becoming the president. It does not preclude him. There's only 3 qualifications you need to become president. Just 3. The first, you got to be a natural-born U.S. citizen, and that has all kind of meanings. What does that mean? You could be born in Canada. You could be born in, not Hawaii. You could be born in Indonesia, Kenya, Africa. You could be born anywhere and be naturalized citizen. You could be born in the Panama Canal Zone. I don't know. Anyway, natural-born U.S. citizen. You could be born. The second thing is you had to have lived here for 14 years in the U.S. Did Obama do that before? I don't know. Anyway, live here 14 years. And then the third thing, 35 years old. Natural-born U.S. citizen, lived here 14 years, 35 years old. It don't say nothing about you can't have no felony conviction, you can't have a criminal record. That's not there. You might get people that are scared to vote for a guy that's going through court action potentially, but that does not preclude you from becoming the president. But they understand how normies operate, and they know they're going to play on that fear that normies have. It's very simple. Very simple. But let's continue here. So May 20th is the trial date as it stands right now. May 2024. And then May 21st, 2024, that's the Oregon primary. June 4th, 2024, that's Montana, New Mexico, South Dakota primaries, and so on. And then we're going to keep on going through primaries and debates and campaigning until November the 5th, Election Day. And we're going to have early voting start in October in Georgia. October the 14th in Georgia. All right. Now, some may say the whole early voting thing, oh, why are we doing the early voting thing in a conservative state? Look, early voting, mail-in ballot, we gotta embrace it. We gotta embrace early voting. We gotta embrace mail-in ballots. We gotta embrace ballot harvesting. We can't defeat these people. We can't defeat the enemy when they have advanced weapons and we're using old school weapons. If we're trying to fight the enemy and they have nukes and we got sticks and stones, how are we going to win? Oh, I don't want to use nukes. Okay, well, you'll just lose. I don't understand. Ain't no morality. There's nothing wrong with voting early. The main thing we got to do is have election integrity. Okay, these electronic machines, make sure they're secure, have paper ballots, have identification, make it easy to vote, but make it also secure. You know, what they do in a lot of these blue states make it easier to vote and insecure. You could just do whatever you want. Hey, you know what? My name is Bill Gates and I want to vote. All right, sir, go ahead and vote. But down here where I live, you can vote early, but I need your ID. I need your photo ID, sir, with the right address on it. Okay. Like where I live is so easy. You could do early voting, day of, mail-in, or whatever. Check it out. You could do early voting, but once you go there, you got to have your ID, and it's paper ballots. It's so simple. Paper ballots, early voting, ID. That should be the way it is across the country. But of course, we know that elections, they don't go federal. It's state to state, which is the way that it should be. There should be no federal election. You have elections for federal positions, but there's no one thing that the federal government does. Each state has their own elections. That's the way it should be. Because once the federale is getting involved, that's when you're going to have a lot more corruption. The most corruption, the most graft, the most ridiculousness comes from the federal government. Period. Point blank. Exactly, John Gray. Paper ballots with ID. If you have that going on, paper ballots and ID, you're good to go. You are great to go. No ID in Illinois, Stephen. See, you got to change that. Down here in Tennessee, ID, paper ballot, you're good to go. Early, day of, mail in, ID, paper ballot. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And we have super chats to get to. Then we're going to get to some calls. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. We're getting to the calls in a minute. Y'all please hang tight. All right, let's go ahead and go over yonder. Thank you to Mulatto. Mulatto Grenadier Guard, great name, says, I just got through watching the streamer named Valkyrie and AOC is live streaming with her. Interesting. Yeah, you know, one thing the left does, they really get to the youth. They get to the youth. One thing I noticed, I was looking at some data, and a lot of Republican voters are older people. I was looking at some of the Sound of Freedom allegedly sabotage TikTok clips, and this one clip showed a theater that it got evacuated because of some smoke in there or something like that. But anyway, I'm seeing the crowd is mostly older people that are interested in conservative politics and things that we kind of know about. I'm not saying it's all, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you voting if you're an older person, but if you want to be able to get the country back on the right track, we got to get the youth involved as well. It can't just be one demographic. And that goes for black, white, or whatever. youth tend to vote more Democrat across racial lines. Once you get to be older, it goes more Republican. We got to get the youth on board too. Now, and people are asking me all the time, how do we do it? You got to go to where they are. So AOC is doing the right thing, going to a stream. But at the same time, it's like that crowd already has been primed to accept an AOC. You understand what I'm saying? They've already been primed to accept AOC from K through 12 education. So we got to attack it on multiple fronts. Go to the school system, become teachers. You have to influence kids from a young age to be able to accept people like myself and many others into their lives, because if they're not prepared to accept us, it's not going to work. AOC jumps in, it's an easy fit because they've already been ready for her. Anyway, thank you to JRC1 who says, a blessed good evening, ABL. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Thank you to No White Guilt who says, ABL, were people watching a man beat his something? Or beating the butter. Yeah. I'm about to say, wait a minute. We getting a little bit too graphic. But yeah, you right about that, boss. That was pretty gross. That art exhibit, I did not like that too tough. Thank you to Ian Kinney who says, so they could bring in the whole apartment bars to house illegal immigrants, but they couldn't do that for homeless Americans. Hey, man, look, you know that you get better treatment if you come in here from a different country illegally. You know how that works. You know what they were doing in New York City when they had a whole hotel for the illegal aliens coming from the south of the border. They had a whole hotel for them. Meanwhile, veterans who didn't fight and sacrifice for this country don't get that same hotel. We already know what it is. We know what it is. Thank you to Blast Radius who says, if those teachers are just quitting because those two subjects are banned, then they weren't teachers but left-wing propagandists. Exactly. We know what it is. They just weeded themselves out. Thank you to Mom Bear who says, Department of Public Health made the JAD racist. I have an email from my son's public school for JAD info meeting scheduled separately for blacks, Hispanics, and rural whites. I wasn't invited. That's crazy. What is the purpose in even doing that? That's ridiculous. Thank you to Not Provided who says, supposedly the Soviet Union censored people. Hey, there it is. Thank you to Papa Naya Shelley who says, hood hustler slogan from break jobs to drywall, holla at Frank, he does it all. There you go. From break jobs to drywall, holla at Frank, he does it all. Right on. Thank you to Lou Maldonado who says, ABL, you're base with the heart emoji and the wave. Thank you for that, Doss. Appreciate you for that. Thank you to Caius Posthumous who says, ABL, do you think we're going to see more Antifa soon? Yeah, come election time, once you really get into the swing of the campaign, they're going to be out here. Absolutely. They're already in Atlanta. They've already been out there in the Cop City thing. There was a riot recently. We're going to see that uptick more once we get close to 2024. Like, once we're in 2024, we're going to see it for real. Thank you to Caius Posthumous who says, Antifa thinks they're going to go fight country folk. It's not going to happen. Try that in a small town. It ain't going to rock. Central Florida Fishing Channel, thank you for your super chat, says, thank you for speaking the truth. Hey, ain't nothing to but to do it. Thank you for that. Thank you to Jalapeno Ketchup who says, great show as always. Here is a donation toward the next case of Hint Water. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. And Hint, give me the endorsement. I mean, people are telling me they buying Hint Water. They loving it. Give me the endorsement and stop playing games. Like, I don't know what I got to do. Thank you to Monique Price who says, could you give your view on what the future of work might look like considering AI and the loss of pensions? I think everyone might turn to freelancers with a strong focus on technical skills. That's a very good question. I think that we're going to have more focus on skilled labor because there's some things that technology can't replace. Technology has replaced a lot of jobs over the years. Ever since the iPhone, ever since really like vehicles. The thing about technology, once we introduce new technology, you're going to have more jobs that are created. Think about society before the advent of the motor vehicle, before the discovery of oil. There wasn't as much activity. We had an agrarian society. All we really could do is just grow food, eat it, and maybe make clothes. Like at one point, the top export of our country was cotton. Like we take it for granted now, but at one point that was chief. So as we advance with technology, we're going to have new things and we're going to have new jobs. So I think what's going to happen as technology increases more rapidly, we're going to have a focus on people developing new skills. So even when you get to be, you're 21 years old, you graduate college, you have a skill, you have a degree, and you start work. By the time you're 30, you need to do something else. So you're going to do a lot of developing skill, going back to school, keeping your sword sharpened, because we're going to see an exponential fast advancement of technology. So hopefully that answered your question. Thank you to Said Bro, who says, I've heard victims of sexual assault or even a child of an SA incident profess to have succeeded in life despite being a horrific thing. People like, okay, I'm not going to read that one, but you're talking about the whole thing about slavery and all this and that with the skills. That's not the same thing. Okay, we're talking about in the institution of slavery that was all around the world. How were you able to escape the institution? You had to learn certain things in that institution. And to say that it didn't happen is just not correct. It's just not correct. Okay, you're talking about an incident of violence happening to somebody, and then afterward, they were still able to move on and have a life. That's not the same thing as being born into an institution that's worldwide, state-sponsored, and you're able to learn skills, and as a result of that, you're able to break out of that state-sponsored institution. It's not difficult to understand, but you're caught up in your feelings. And that's not how men operate. Thank you to David Wan, who says, imagine Dom returning as a prez, Vivid as vice president, Curry Lake as press secretary, and RFK Jr. as head of health and human services. He could be, that'd actually be a pretty decent ticket right there. Possible dream team there, correct. Thank you to Bina, who says, Republicans need to engage in the black community. Can't listen to nobody talking to you. It's a waste of time. For real. Like, it's a waste of time. Like, you can't, listen, you can't engage the black community as a Republican directly. It's not going to work. You have to just be available. That's what I do. I'm not going to try to preach at the black community. I'm available though. Whenever I talk in a way that welcomes everybody. I don't care what color you are. You could be gay. I don't care. Whatever you are, you're welcome to hear my message. Like a preacher. But I can't go right to the people that are not trying to hear me and force my message on them. Come into the church, hear the message if you want to. The church is open to you, but I'm not going to force my doctrine on you. I'm not going to force my ways on you because it ain't going to work. I've been black for a long time. I know how it is in the community. If you were to hit me up when I was still young, dumb, out here acting the fool, a liberal, in my early 20s, late teens, something like that, if you were to try to come talk about being a conservative and Trump is a great guy at that age, man, I'm like, man, I'd be ready to fight. I'm not even a fighter, but I wouldn't even really be trying to hear you. I had to realize it on my own. And then I had to come to somebody that already was talking about that. Like Rush Limbaugh, that's where I went first, was Rush. Before I was ready to hear him, I would not have, if Rush Limbaugh was to come to Virginia in the hood where I was living at the time and just start talking, I would not listen. But when I was ready, I came to him. Then I was like, okay, I like this. But it had to happen when I was ready. It's like dealing with dope fiends. You ever deal with a drug addict? If you try to get somebody that likes to smoke crack for a living off crack, it's not going to work. Have you ever tried to reason with a crackhead? Like, hey, stop moving your jaw like this. Stop doing all that jazz and put the crack down. Go to Hunter Biden when he's high on crack and say, put the crack pipe down. Good luck with that. They're only going to be ready to make a change when they want to, period. But thank you for your super chat, though. I appreciate you. Thank you to Jaleisha Salvatore, who says, hey, ABL, there was a lot of topics I wanted to discuss tonight, but my kids wanted to go swim. I wanted to roast on Joe Biden and his new low stairs. Also, to the girl who did the Justice Smouye special. Well, thank you for your super chat and your support. I appreciate you. And RIP to Rush. RIP Rush. Rest in peace. But you guys on the drill. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. There's also an email in the description box if you want to be right here, bottom left-hand corner of the screen on Skype. And if it doesn't work right, don't blame me. Blame the white man because no, it ain't my fault. It is not my fault. Let's go ahead and get into it. Again, the number to call, 434-658-1220. Let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. All right. So, let me see. Let me go ahead and call in. I'm speaking to 918.
Hey, what's up, ABL? JB Scotchman from Oklahoma. How you doing, buddy?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Hey, not a lot, man. Not a lot. Well, great show as always. I want to talk about the whole Jason Aldean and this video topic. Now, I'm not a big fan of modern country. I pretty much quit following it in the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, I like the old school stuff. I like George Jones, William Whalen, and Conway, and all those guys. But every now and then a song comes along that I hear, I'm like, yeah, that's not too bad, actually. So when I heard all this controversy about this video, you know, I was like everyone else in the country. I'm like, okay, well, I got to see what this is all about. So I look it up on YouTube and I watch it. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that was a decent song and it made a lot of, it's true. So I don't see, then like you played earlier, the MSDNC people and those crazy women on The View were making such a huge, big deal about it. You know, like it was tearing the country apart. It was promoting racism and lynching. I mean, they're the ones that are doing that. They're the problem because they can't stop talking about this stuff. Now, I'll tell you what's interesting. You know, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and one of my things that I like a lot, kind of my guilty pleasure, is watching reaction videos. And it's mainly watching, you know, younger people like the new generation, people of all races and colors, watching classic stuff like classic music and movies, you know, stuff that I grew up with. So it's cool seeing their first time reaction to all that. And ever since then, I've been watching a lot of reaction videos to the Jason Aldean video. And I'll tell you, there's like thousands on YouTube, you know, and they're almost a young, old, black, white, male, female. I haven't seen one person complain about this video. I mean, it's getting so much support. Yeah, the liberal news, they should be ashamed of themselves for trying to turn this into something it's not. So, on that note, yeah, it's good to see that this song is actually doing more uniting than dividing. So they can go kiss my butt if they want to go there. You know, it's funny because about 2 years ago, I called in. One of the topics was about Antifa coming to rural communities and small towns.
Mm-hmm.
And I called in, and I was pretty fired up. I'm like, listen, they come out to my area, they're going to have a bad day. It's not going to end well for them. Dang, I'm thinking, I should have wrote that song 2 years ago and sold it, and I'd be rich by then. But, oh well. Anyway, that's my thoughts for the night, man.
Well, thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
I love you, man. Love everybody in the chat, and I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the callers.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, later, man.
All right, shout out to one man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. The number to call, 434-658-1220. 405 here on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Anyway,
Hey, ABL, what's going on today, man? It's Dustin. How's it going?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Just been experiencing craziness here in my neck of the woods. You know, kids shooting their own brothers. You know, crazy stuff like that.
Right on.
So, yeah, I kind of want to talk about this country music, Justin Aldean thing, real quick. I grew up on country, and you know, country has always been a little hit and miss with me because you know sometimes you know it'll be like, oh yeah, this is a good song, or this one's like okay, but not that great. But I haven't listened much country since like after high school, and that was like 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I still love some of the artists like Toby Keith, Garth Brooks, Reba McEntire, Dixie Chicks. I mean, yeah, they had their little run-in with Toby Keith with courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. But other than that, yeah, they're decent singers. And when I heard about this song, I was like, dude, okay, I'll just like check it out. And I see nothing wrong with it.
Right, exactly.
And I'm like, yeah. And this, I mean, this kind of struck a little nerve with me because both my parents grew up in a small town in Kansas. And if you look to the left, you see nothing, not much there. If you look to the right, you won't see nothing other than a dirt road.
Mm-hmm.
So they literally had to work for the community. You know, when they heard a farmer was injured, couldn't do his harvest, I bet you my grandfather would go down with his, you know, combine, trucks, you name it, he would probably do it out of his own pocket. You know, that's because they help each other out.
That's right.
But if you just listen to the lyrics saying, hey, we dare you to ride this in a small town and see what happens. I mean, that's what I'm getting from the song.
Absolutely.
And yes. Yeah, and yet I'm thinking, you know, if people don't how should I word this, understand what a small town goes through, then they should not have an opinion. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg is just shooting out her mouth saying it's about racism, it's about lynching, it's about this, it's about that. And I will listen to a song 1,000 times, and yet I don't hear anything inappropriate. I mean, yeah, I mean, I would criticize, you know, the lyrics here and there are not too great, but at least it makes, I mean, at least the beat, the music is okay or awesome. But it just, I mean, she doesn't even know what he's talking about, other than, oh, it's anti-black, it's anti-this, it's pro-this. I mean, like, that woman just needs to wake up.
Right on, right on.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just tired of these rich Hollywood elites telling us how to do or how to live our lives, okay? I mean, they can afford a $5,000 refrigerator, and yet we can barely afford a refrigerator that costs $300.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and yet they say, Hollywood's racist, and yet we found out they have a $25 million house on a 100-acre lot, and yet my grandparents on my dad's side, they moved down here back in the 70s, late 70s, if I remember right, and they only got a 2-acre lot.
Right.
So you think my grandparents can afford a 50-acre lot? Probably not.
Exactly.
Well, I need to go because I want other callers to call in. So have a nice night.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Sure thing. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Shout out to my man for the call. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. You're on the line, 617. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is Ivan.
All right, what's going on?
I was listening to the last video today that you were talking about that slaves learn a skill. That's one of the benefits of the slaves. But what you forgot to say that slaves, when they were into America, they were already skilled workers.
Okay,
I mean,
so
they're already building.
It wasn't what?
Well, there were skills. They knew how to grow rice. I mean, have you read any books about slavery? They knew how to craft. They knew how to weld. Who you think build those jails?
Okay, so like we talking about skills that they didn't have. Like, what skill did they have over there? There are certain things that they learned over here that they didn't have over there. Like they had carpentry in these villages.
Yeah, they were carpenters. Yeah.
So yeah. They were building multiple story homes in West Africa in villages at that particular time.
Well, are you here about Chaka Zulu?
Like let's stop playing games. Of course, they had some skill. I'm not trying to say they were just completely just barbarians out there in the jungle. That's not what it was. But the reality is that when you're born into slavery, you got to do with whatever you have. Like, a lot of people were born into slavery. It wasn't just people that came over there that already knew what they were doing. That was typically not who was captured anyway. Okay? A lot of them were born into slavery, not brought over here, and then forced to go into it where they already had skills. They were born into slavery. So what are we talking about exactly?
So who taught them those skills when they were born into slavery?
Whoever they learned it from. I don't know.
Other slaves. The parents showed him how to. If you were in the crop industry, the parents showed him how to do that.
So you know for 100%. Excuse me. So it doesn't matter who taught them. At the end of the day, they learned it in slavery. That's the point. So excuse me, sir. Are you saying I'm right or am I wrong? But did they learn it in slavery? Excuse me. Did they learn it during slavery? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no, sir? Sir, yes or no?
No.
Excuse me. If a slave did not learn skills during slavery, when did they learn it?
They already have skills. The slaves that came to America,
listen. A slave born into slavery did not come here from Africa. They were born here. So, excuse me, if that person learned skills during slavery, did they learn it during slavery or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? No. Yes or no? Let's answer the question.
There were already
no. Excuse me. You're not answering the question. So what you're trying to do right now is say that people that came. You see, you had an argument prepared, but I killed your argument. Your argument was going to be that people that were brought over here on the boats already had skills when they were in Africa. I'm talking about those who were born into slavery. They had to have learned skills during slavery. You could say that they were taught these skills by people that didn't, that came from the boat. You have no way of knowing that. At the end of the day, whatever they learned it in slavery, born into it. They learned it there. That's a fact. But look, that whole time I was talking, I could not hear words you were saying because I taught you got to be quiet.
Oh.
Now you got the floor.
So who showed white people how to grow food?
I don't know. You tell me.
Blacks showed them how to grow in Africans.
So wait. So so they had no idea how to grow food in Europe?
No different type of food.
So they had no idea how to farm in Europe. Wait. Excuse me. So farming did not exist in Europe?
It was very limited.
Did it exist? Yes or no?
Existed, but it was very limited.
Okay, so you could say this. You could say, let's just say you're right. Let's just say the Europeans had no ability to grow any kind of food. So there was no potatoes in Ireland. It was none of that going on, right? Europeans had no ability to, excuse me, sir, the Europeans not know what farming was until the Africans and the Native Americans told them, okay, cool. Let's say they did that. Now, who taught the slaves about ironworking and stuff like that? Was that taught to them in West Africa, or was that taught in North America? Just be all the way real. What are we talking about?
Africans have the skills to do that.
So you telling me that? No.
Okay,
so excuse me, sir. You're telling me that slaves that were brought here had all the skills of industry in North America that started here before they got to North America? Is that what you're saying?
They already have all the skills. They knew how to weld.
Africans
already knew how to weld.
They knew how to weld. They knew how to weld in the 1700s from Africa in the village. Is that what you're telling me? They were welding for real?
How you think they build the change?
Huh?
Are you hear about point of no return? Are you hear about point of no return?
The Europeans built that. The Europeans built that. They did the whole tour.
The Europeans built point of no return.
Yes.
Are you? No.
Yes, they
it
did.
Was built by Africans.
No, it was not. The Europeans built that for them. Are you dumb?
No, it was Africans who built a point of no
return.
return.
No, it was not.
They were tricked. Okay. All right, dude. All right.
No, it wasn't. They built the Europeans. The Europeans built that.
No return.
Yes, I know what that is.
Who built the change?
Huh?
Who built the change? Who built the change? Who had the ability to build the change?
Built the what now?
The change where they capture those Africans.
The cage.
Who have the ability to do it?
The Europeans. This is the whole point. Like, listen to what you're saying.
Oh my God.
Listen to what you're saying. Do you know what slaves were traded for? Listen, if the Africans could do all, if the Africans could do all that, why were the slaves being traded for hand mirrors and spices? Do you hear yourself? That they could build castles. Listen. That they could build castles, but they couldn't make a mirror or an umbrella, or they couldn't cultivate spices. Are you silly?
No. But let me explain to you. Africans were ignorant in a lot of areas. For example, an African, they knew how to extract a diamond, but they didn't know the value of the diamond, and that's why a lot of whites took advantage of a lot of the weakness and a lot of the ignorance of the innocent in some way, in some regards. But they were. Do you know? Okay, so do you believe Christopher Columbus discovered America? Do you really believe that?
Well, he told the Europeans about it, but obviously people were already right there. But he told the Europeans about it.
Who came as a foreigner to America first?
I don't know. It could have been anybody.
Or was King Abdullah from Africa?
King Abdullah?
He built 200 boats and came to America. That's what archaeologists killed.
Okay, so when did he come to America?
In the year 1200. Let me explain to you.
No. We don't got all day for you to talk about whatever you want to talk about. So, okay, where did he come? Did he come North America, South America, the islands? Where did he go?
They came to, I think, part of South America, Central America, and South America.
Okay, and when they got here, what did they do? They just went back. Like, what did they do?
I don't know. I think they explored and they left. Do you know why? Do you know why archaeologists believe this is true? Because in the rocks there were Muslims and they wrote in Arabic.
So, but why does that matter?
So you're gonna tell me these people have tremendous amount of skills before they brought here? They were high skilled.
But who are these people? Who are these people? Where did they come from? You said these Muslims. Where did they come from? They come from West Africa, North Africa. They come from Ottoman Empire. Where did they come from?
I think some of them went from Sudan. I mean, the people who build, who work on lands were from Congo.
Excuse me, they came from Sudan. Really? Do you know where that is? So they came from East Africa. They came from East Africa in the boats, North America. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
In the boats to North America.
For real?
Read your history books. Read about King Abdullah, and then you will learn who he is.
So they came from
read
Sudan.
About Shaka Zulu.
Shaka Zulu. What are we talking about Shaka Zulu for? South Africa. What's it got to do with anything?
But are you seeing
Shaka Zulu and the Zulu came from Central Africa to South Africa after the white man came. The funny part about Shaka Zulu is that they came from Central Africa. The Zulu came from Central Africa after the white man came to South Africa. The Zulu came in, oppressed the Bushmen who were already in South Africa. But I don't got a day, man. So have a good day. All right. So yeah, shout out to your man Shaka Zulu, what are we even talking about? What is going on? So we're saying that a guy came from Sudan, East Africa, Ottoman Empire almost, from Sudan to North America in the boat, for real. So it wasn't no Suez Canal at this particular point. You had to go through like the Red Sea. You had to go through that way and find your way back to the crib. Like, what is really going on? That's crazy. Okay, let's keep on rocking here. 859, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how's it going?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
I wish it was better. I'm stuck at work. The compactor's busted, and I have to throw away all this trash, and I'm on my 15, so I tried to call in and stuff like that as much as I can, man. So, I'm happy to hear from you, buddy.
Oh, it's all good, man, for sure.
Hey, the funny thing is, talking about the whole thing with Ron DeSantis, my bad, about, him, all these liberals screaming out he's racist because he brought up the whole trade thing. The funny thing is, the first place I went, ever went ghost hunting was an area that was originally a town full of runaway slaves, and the Taste Creek area. And I did not know about this information until a historian come up to me online and talked to me about this, that, believe it or not, the area that I was investigating, taking pictures, catching images of orbs and shadows, were a city was founded by runaway slaves, and a lot of their trade was farming. So, I mean, these people were screaming, calling him racist, and I'm kind of like, wait a minute. I thought a lot of these people ran away and made their own cities, made their own towns based on their skills. That's like, what? I'm hearing this, and I'm like, does any of these people read a history book? I mean, seriously. I mean, yeah, everybody agrees that slavery was horrible, it was bad, it was messed up. It was a horrible, barbaric time in our darkest part of our history in America, but it's still part of our history. And not only that, I mean, they learn a trade to escape from that oppression. So I don't get why you call him racist, but they're not gonna call somebody like Trudeau or Joe Biden racist for some of the stuff they said. It's just the total hypocrisy and double standard they always spout off about.
Yeah, it's just a political thing. That's all. They're trying to attack DeSantis and anybody else. They're also trying to attack RFK Jr. They're trying to attack anyone who they see as a threat to Joe Biden or to the Democratic Party establishment. That's all.
It's kind of obvious when it's kind of obvious because, yes, I mean, some of the people who were slaves back in the day, they learned a trade. They ran away from slavery. They continue having that trade of farming or others. Sorry, there's a forklift in the area, and I'm on my 15. I'm sorry. I'm at work right now, so I do apologize. I'm on my 15. But hey, I'm happy to hear from you, man, and I appreciate you taking my call, bro.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Much love, bro. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Shout out to my man for the call. Hey, can I show you guys something right quick? I'm gonna show you guys just a little bit of I'm gonna show you guys a map right quick. All right, I love maps. I'm a big nerd, big map guy. Going back to this whole thing about Sudan. So, a boat came from Sudan to North America in the year 1200 or something crazy. Do you see where Sudan is? Look, Sudan is right here, right? This is East Africa. Now, do you see how far that is from North America? Look, watch this. Now, in modern times, if you want to get to North America from this particular area, Eritrea, Sudan, like a lot of the old Ottoman Empire, Egypt, Saudi, Yemen, Oman, etc., you go through the Red Sea. You got the Suez Canal right here. Sinai Peninsula, Egypt, you can come through right here, and you can get to the Mediterranean, which will get you to a lot of Southern Europe. And then you can escape right here, Rock of Gibraltar in Morocco, that little area. You could go that way and across the Atlantic Ocean to come straight across. But in those particular times, you couldn't do that. You had to go through the Red Sea and go through the Gulf of Aden. Like, you had to go that way. you'd have come this way and then around the Horn of Africa and up this way and over there. There's no way. There's no way. If they went this way and came, come on, on a boat in 1200, be for real. And they most certainly didn't come up this far. Maybe they went over here. But on a boat that way, come on. Like, lay off the weed. Lay off the weed. All right. The number to call, 434-658-1220. All right, Victor, what's going on?
If this will take my call.
Ain't no problem.
Man, that Ron DeSantis, they call him racist for talking about the benefits that the slaves got once it became free. That's why I went back, that goes back to what I said about how the NAACP attacked Booker T. Washington.
Oh, what did they say about Booker T?
Well, I mentioned this before about a couple of weeks ago, how W.E.B. Du Bois and NAACP attacked Booker T. Washington because they said that he was accommodating racism. Instead of just fighting for equal rights, he accommodated the white people. When Booker T. Washington wasn't doing that. What Booker T. Washington was saying is that all the skills that you got from being slaves, you could gain a lot of power from that. Even though they may not treat you equally, you still have a lot of power because the white people didn't gain any skills. But yet though, because of W.E.B. Du Bois, Marxist ideology, where people are basically jealous of other people gaining wealth, they went ahead and attacked Booker T. Washington, when Booker T. Washington is basically saying what Ron DeSantis said.
Right, exactly. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I said that was the downfall of the civil rights movement, of adopting that Marxist socialist ideology, not realizing that with that hard work, that you can gain power from it. But no, they want to go on that belief, thinking that if you gain wealth, then that means you got it through evil ways, and you have to be jealous of what other people gain.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, my last part is the Andrew Tate and Tucker Carlson interview. Did you watch that? I know it's been a while ago.
Yeah, I've not seen the entire thing. I've just seen clips of it.
Okay. I've finally watched the entire thing. With Andrew Tate, I don't know what to think of him, because he said a lot of good things about men should work out, work hard, take care of themselves, and look for a virtuous woman. He said that on the Tucker Carlson interview. My thing is, I don't know if he actually believes that based off his past lifestyle, where he didn't look for virtuous women, or he had a change of heart, or the manosphere that adopted his view don't even listen to that portion. Reason why I said that is because in past videos, he said the exact same thing, but he said the same exact thing of working out, working hard, and be a high value man. But when he said that during those times, he was saying that to be sexually desirable. And now he's using that same logic, saying picking up a virtuous woman. That's one thing I'm kind of confused with Andrew Tate, and I don't even really know what to really feel about him.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Tate, he is going to kind of be all over the place because he'll do certain things in his personal life that don't match necessarily what he's saying. It's kind of like the do as I say, not as I do type situation. He may not necessarily be a role model as far as how he lives his life, dealing with the cam models and whatnot, but at the same time, he could tell you some things that make sense for the average person to do that he may not do himself. I guess that's kind of what's going on with him.
Yeah, exactly. And that goes, and it also goes back to what I said about how the manosphere adopted his view. Because looking at the manosphere, they adopted his view, but they do it to be sexually desirable, to try to gain the women, to please their pleasure. And that's why I'm like, okay, when you say that, are you working yourself up to work hard and get your life together so you could be desirable for a virtuous woman, or to be sexually desirable because you think that having a bunch of these women give you power?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, bye.
All right, great call. Shout out to my man Victor for the call. Thank you all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And number to call, 434-658-1220. 646 online. Who am I speaking to?
Anyway, this is my call.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, baby? How's it going?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out something. I'm from New York City. I'm all C from the chat. My thing is like, when it comes to history, historians, archaeologists, I'm sorry. If you listen to the delivery of the language, if you listen to these people, look at different subject matters that they bring up, the word theory is always utilized. They have a theory. They're not absolutely sure. And also, when it comes to the experts in the archaeology field, they argue back and forth, just like people did with the vaccine and with anything, for that matter. My thing is I'm Boricua, Puerto Rican, born and raised in New York City. My ancestors are from Puerto Rico, and I have a problem with people saying I'm Puerto Rican. The truth of the matter is, no, I'm not. It's a made-up race, okay? Crooks arrived on that island. They didn't arrive there, with gifts and stuff like that. No, they went there, they explored, and they took it over. And then they said, I'm going to take this island, I'm going to name it Puerto Rico. The people who landed there settled. There were settlers from Spain and a few other small places in Europe. Okay? After 1998, okay, after the war between the United States, they went across the pond, all the way to Europe and Paris, and cut a deal. And then the deal is that Puerto Rico was turned over to the United States. Spain went away as a government, as a power. The settlers did not leave. They stayed behind, and Spain actually abandoned most of them because they wouldn't come back. So at the end of the day, there's no such thing as a Puerto Rican race. And I want my people to understand that. Go read your history, but understand this. When we start bringing up scenarios about the tribes and the indigenous people that were there, et cetera, et cetera. If you go to Puerto Rico, and I don't know if you've been there, if you go to San Juan, everybody looks European. Blue eyes, green eyes, blonde hair, brown hair. And it goes, little darker shades as you travel throughout the island. There are not many blacks on the island of Puerto Rico. There isn't. And all they have to go do is look it up. But as far as me calling myself a Puerto Rican and that's my nationality, it's not even my nationality. Because that island was conquered from other people. We landed there as Spaniards, as settlers. So, 100 years later, approximately 140 years later, or 30 years later, I'm sorry, it was made up. Okay? There is no such thing as a Puerto Rican. We identify with that because we were abandoned, number one, and of course we were dealt away by the superpowers at the time, United States and Spain. So today, all I can say is that we are clearly of Spanish descent, and yes, we have a few that may be from elsewhere, but the majority in Puerto Rico are from Spanish descent. And I just wanted that to be known. I'm not going to argue with you, AB, about Black history, what I read, this and that. You will be shocked at the history searching I've done, and I can find all kinds of, as you will, the delivery of the language, the deception in the history itself. The reason why I watch you is because you're the man. You know how to pick up the delivery of the language. 2 weeks ago, you made a comment. You said, the news lady, remember at the White House, she said, oh, and Kamala parks her car over there. Now, this is where it gets deep. What people don't realize, right, is that, there's no such thing as the vice president parking her car in that area of the White House. And I'm going to tell you, all people got to do is go research it. Go look it up. The vice president, as well as the president of the United States, are escorted everywhere. They do not drive their personal cars, including Kamala. And when she goes to her residence in D.C., which is right around the corner, but not literally, she is escorted by Secret Service police detail to her home. She does not park her car there. But the main thing is here, you was right. Why would she say that? It was manipulation tactics. This is how they get the rest of us to try to get our attention off of whatever. But it's funny that they try to make, by her saying that, she wanted the American public to put all eyes on the vice president. Like, maybe she left the cocaine there. She parks her car over there. That was all a lie. And all the people got to do is look it up. The vice president has been escorted with Secret Service detail, and it started in 1951. So when somebody says, oh, Hunter parked his car there, or no, that is a straight up lie. But anyway, that's all I want to say. And my thing is, again, when it comes to history, even historians don't get it right. And archaeology finds this and that. When they do find them, you know what they do? They go, oh, look at what we found here. And then you know what they do? They shut it down. They run people out. You remember that discovery they did in Egypt about 5-6 years ago? What did that government do? Chase them all out. We're talking about experts from all over the world. And the Egyptian government says, oh, wow, what did you find? Okay, you guys got to get out of here. And they chased them all out. Now, what have we heard since then? What did they find? What was it? Is it important? Is it a weapon? Is it dangerous? We got nothing to this day. We don't know what they found. And our experts were chased away, not only in the United States, worldwide. And my thing is like, again, everything to me, as I sit in my home and watch these videos and do research, I see a world con job. That's what I see. I see every government on earth manipulating their societies within their countries. And another thing real quick, and I'll get off, I tell people, because they say, oh no, but Ukraine needs help and this and that, whatever. It went from 90% they produced the world's grain, now it's down to 50%. My thing is, mathematically, it's impossible. The size of the Ukraine, You can't feed 8 billion people worldwide from a country that's only 600,000 square nautical miles. Now, the thing is, even if every person in that country was a farmer, it would be impossible. Why? It's only 40 million people there. They're down to 20 because everybody left.
Right on, man.
And it,
I'll cut you off.
Thank you.
No problem, man. Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
All right, shout out to the caller. And thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Let's go. Now 1-2, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
What's going on, ABL? It's your boy, Joel Davis, Media Network, brother. How you doing tonight, man?
Everything's all good, man. What's going on?
Oh, man, I'm great, man. Glad to catch the show once again. It's been lit. Everybody, I've been started off right, man. I want to talk about a couple of things that you talked about. One was the gentleman that's supposed to be, I guess, the nephew of JFK. I don't know his name.
RFK Jr.
RFK, they call him.
Yeah, RFK Jr.
Yeah. I would consider him, man, a blue dog Democrat. If you listen to his style, he like the throwback Democrats that had a little bit of common sense. You don't find those these days. Kind of like, to me, like Joe Manchin. They really trying to push for this whole environmental bit, going all green. But besides that, what he talked about the disadvantage for all the minority communities during the coronavirus is true. I mean, ABL, we talked about it. You talked about it. Brandon Tatum talked about it. Black Conservative Perspective talked about it. All of us have talked about how all of the black community did not get an opportunity to be educated on how to be really protected against this virus, and they didn't get a lot of assistance versus people that had insurance and things of that nature. And all of this stuff, the black community has happened with a lot of our Hispanic community and things as well. That's why the death rate in those communities was so high. And and I know that these liberals will never acknowledge that, because in their mind, they were like, take the vax. But again, you already know their rabbit hole. We done seen what happened with taking the vax that they still cannot explain. But, I digress on that. The other topic I wanted to hit on about the slavery that is really ticking me off, because everybody wants to act like that the slavery conversation that black Americans did not benefit something from slavery. It's like any situation that's bad, right? Example given. You go to jail or you got to do prison time, right? When you in prison, they give you opportunity to what? Get an education, go to the law library, or either that, learn a trade like carpentry and things of that nature. People come, if they take advantage of that, they come out when they do get released to society. They got a trade, right?
Yep.
So they're able to make money and prosper. Same thing happened with slavery. A lot of these people that were born into slavery, they taught them how to farm. They needed people to learn how to farm. The rich aristocrats back then weren't going to get their hands dirty farming. That's why they hired the people for it. So they had the other slaves teach that same thing to them. And then by the time slavery was, we were free as black folks, we already had trade. We knew how to be a blacksmith. We knew how to cook. We knew how to farm. We knew how to, build houses. We knew how to make furniture. Nobody's not thinking about that. Everybody always want to focus on the bad. Well, they sold the babies and stuff like that. Okay. Well, it wasn't just white folks. We already know the history of slavery. I mean, you had people in villages selling their worst and best for the highest dollar. For what? Food and weapons. I mean, come on now. That was going on for years. And not only was black people slaves, you had people that were slaves. You had the Vikings that was making other European colony slaves as well. So the slavery game was more than just black people. It was white folks that got experience it too, along with Indians. So, it just makes me sad that people try to not understand that this is all a part of American history, because all of us as a cultural whole have contribute to American history. That's why I don't like Black History Month. That's why I don't agree with Hispanic Month, because every 365 days should be about history if you want to be precise about it. Because Frederick Douglass, Langston Hughes, everybody had a contribution contribution to American history. Theodore Roosevelt. We can go on for days. So, that's just one of my things about that. And last, I want to talk about the Carly Russell situation. I've seen that a lot of people, man, the liberals are now trying to make excuses saying, well, she should be able to get away with it because white people have done it for years. Newsflash. Every white person I've known to fake their death or try to fake a kidnapping, they got prosecuted, right?
Yeah.
9 times out of 10. And it is a sad situation that we as Black Americans still don't want to hold ourselves accountable. This young lady took away from real people of all walks of life that really needed to be searched for, that was really missing. And the sad part is that even though she got fired from her job, she still would not tell everybody where she was at and why she did what she did. Now, personally, I'm like you, ABL. I think she should be held accountable. I think she should be fined. And I think after she should be fined, I think that she should do at least 6 months to a year in prison, so we can make an example of these folks to quit wasting resources for your own personal gain. You know what I'm saying? Because if you made a mistake out here in real life, you need to stand up on all 10 toes and face up to it. Don't create lies, because that's what happened in this case. And I really believe a little bit of what I think, not you said it, but a lot of people said it. She thought because she being a Black woman in America and her mind, that woke ideology, she thought the police were going to do their job. Well, newsflash, if you live in a home with a manicured lawn and a gated community with everybody, your family is well known in that little part of Birmingham, and they know the chief police know them, everybody know your family, what you think was going to happen?
Right, exactly.
That's just common sense. So to me, when everybody try to spin it as a racial thing, the liberals also contradict themselves, because they say, well, it's really a class thing. Yeah, it really is a class thing, because yes, she was made up of a lot of money. She worked for a lot of high-end people. Her family was well known, and because of the money that they got and stuff of that nature, the jobs they had and the connections they had in the community, yeah, she was going to go nationwide, because this was the most bizarre thing ever. And one more thing I want to say before I get off here. About I am the terrible. I wanted to let you know that I talked to his I got his brother Zach that told me to tell you the following. I'm gonna put it on the line right quick for you, ABL. This is what he told me to tell you. It doesn't speak for all Africans, man. Okay, he don't. Just want to let you know that. Don't speak for all Africans. And I love America. But anyway, man, I'm doing a live show tonight. I will hopefully you to join if you can, if you're not busy, because I know you're a very busy man. But it'll probably be about 11 o'clock tonight. We'll be doing a live show, talk about the same topic, probably a little bit more in depth, just like you are doing tonight. But man, ABL, keep doing your thing, man. I want you to hit that million, bro. I'm telling you, as soon as you hit it, I'm spreading your name all across the world.
Right on, man. Thank you for your call as always. I appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate you too, man. Keep up the good work, ABL. Keep killing it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right, bye, bro.
All right. So shout out to my main man over there at Joe Davis Media Network. Y'all go check him out. And let's keep on rocking here. Let's go 214. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. Love your show, by the way. I have some free time to get the back noise out. I'm not sure if anybody's brought this up about the whole Barbie movie situation. It's kind of a hot topic right now. I just saw it last night, and it's one of those. It's another movie that suckers you in with the nostalgia. But I cannot believe there's a scene. There's spoilers. I'm not sure. Are you planning to see this movie or don't care anything about it?
I mean,
at all?
I'm going to watch it, but I really don't care too much about spoilers. So it don't matter. You say what you want to say.
Okay. Well, growing up, I'm in my 30s. You know, like typical girls, I was obsessed with Barbie, and it never crossed my mind that there was this battle of the sexes playing with the Barbies. There's nothing. I never felt that men were out to get me. It wasn't anything like that whatsoever. And this movie pushes hard on that narrative. And there's one scene in particular, which really bothered me besides the extreme feminism, where Barbie interacts with a 13-year-old. And the level of disrespect that this 13-year-old shows or interacts with the Barbie, the character and the main character in the movie, was just unreal. I wasn't raised, and I think most of us weren't raised to talk to adults like this. And mind you, this is in a school setting. And she calls Barbie a fascist. She's a terrible role model for women, and talks about how she is kind of a martyr or a symbol of capitalism. And I'm just, where is all this coming from? It's just insane, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, besides the nostalgia and the Barbie theme and everything, I mean, that's what I really enjoyed. And there are some funny moments, but this is probably one of the worst movies when it comes to the feminism narrative. It's pretty bad, ABL.
Yeah, I got to check it out. And I'm going to see it just because I want to just understand what's going on and be relevant. I have no real connection to Barbie or anything like that, but I'm going to check it out and see what's going on for myself.
Yeah. I would really want to know your perspective, and you know, the issue with the really disrespectful 13-year-old to a stranger in a school setting. That was another element of the movie that I was honestly shocked. I couldn't believe it how these kids are being raised to talk to people like this, and she also had this moment where she was criticizing her appearance, but then I thought to myself, oh, but if it was a transgender man dressed up in this pink cowgirl costume, she wouldn't say anything negative about it. So
yeah, that's crazy.
That's another thing that you have to think about.
Right.
But anyways, I'll let you go. Get to another caller. I really enjoy your show, and I hope you hit that 1 million mark.
Well, thank you for your call and your support. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Good night.
Good night. All right. Great call. 773, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Thanks for getting to my call, ABL. It's your retired Chicago police officer friend. ABL, since I am retired and I do collect a pension, I wanted to talk about that video that you had up about the guy losing his pension. You know, the pensions, 30 years is a long time. And certain promises were made. And 30 years later, Democratic cities and whatnot have mismanaged money, and they want to get out of that. They look at pensions as a debt that they want to get off their books. I'll just speak about the Chicago policeman's pension. I do get a pension, but here's the thing. Dan Rostenkowski, for people who don't know, was a very powerful congressman from Chicago. He was the son of a Chicago alderman. He's now dead. He went to prison himself. He did a bill that it's called the Social Security Windfall Act, where because I'm a policeman and get a pension, I only get 40% of my Social Security. I paid in all those years from when I was a teenager working. I paid it into the Social Security system. I'm not asking for anything that I wasn't supposed to get. But because later in life, and I was a construction worker and everything else and a truck driver, but because later in life I became a policeman and have a policeman's pension, the government has this elimination program. What he said was, hey, Social Security is going broke. It's not fair that you get a pension and Social Security. So we're going to enact this thing, the Social Security Windfall Act. You're only going to get 40% of your money and the government keeps 60% because you're getting a pension. Of course, before he enacted that, he eliminated Congress from that act. So Congress doesn't, they get their full Social Security and a pension. But the police, on the other hand, only gets 40% of their money. So I'm not happy about that.
Right.
But also, so in the year, and I don't want to be too scattered, but in the year 2000, Mayor Daley, Democratic city, Democratic mayor, he was hoping to get the 2016 Olympics here in Chicago. Unlike other countries like Japan or places like that, if you host the Olympics in the United States, that city has to have the money in the bank that says, yes, we'll be ready for the Olympics if you award the Olympics to our city. We'll have an Olympic village. We'll have, the swimming pool or whatever you need here. It'll be there. So what Mayor Daley did was he came to the city and said, hey, we want to get the 2016 Olympics. At the time Obama was in office, he thought he had the inside track. So he asked our pensions, the policemen, firemen, teachers union, he asked our pension system, give us a moratorium for 15 years on paying into your pension. And for people who don't know the way pensions work, the workers that are working now, they pay into the pension system. So does the city pay into the pension system. Then they take that pooled money, they invest it, and hopefully, that $10 million turns into $50 million or $60 million by investing it. You use that money to pay the people who are already retired, and it keeps going like that in a circle. Why we let them have a moratorium on 15 years? Well, we never did get the Olympics here in Chicago. And Mayor Daley retired right as soon as they announced that we weren't getting the Olympics, he retired. So we gave our pension money to somebody named Resco, a company named Resco. It's the same investment company and real estate company that got Obama his house and the property next door for $1 for Obama's mansion here in Chicago. He invested heavily in the area that the Olympic Village was going to be. It's on the lakefront. There's an old hospital there. There's a lot of hospital land that was there, and the surrounding Brownsville neighborhood here in Chicago. They invested heavily, and once the Olympics didn't come to Chicago, that place was never redeveloped, and this guy lost our $60 million of pension money. Of course, he took his fee. He took his $1 million fee for losing our money and then disappeared. So, it's all legal in his mind, but our money was gone. Then in 2015, when it was due that they owed us the money. Now the new mayor at the time was Rahm Emanuel. He cried poor and said that you're going to bankrupt the city. They couldn't even pay the interest they owed us on the pension money, let alone the pension money itself. So, you know, these cities, these companies, they look at it as a debt that they want to get off their books. They do not want to fulfill their pension obligation. That's what they want to do. I predict with the police department and the other city workers that eventually what will happen is they will eliminate their pensions completely. And they will say, you know what, you just get a regular 401k. We're going to give you X number of dollars towards your 401 and no more. You can invest your own money if you want, but we're not going to deal with pensions anymore. It's very frustrating because, you know, you count on that pension, but it's never there. They don't want to pay you the money. That's the bottom line. And you really have to look out for yourself nowadays, and that's the bottom line. They just don't want to pay your pension. They don't want that obligation or that liability to pay your pension money. And it's a sad thing, but you're on your own. You're on your own, and this is what happens in these democratic cities. Here's the thing about the pension, ABL, that if they didn't mismanage the money, there'd be more than enough money there. I contribute, you contribute, we invest the money, but of course the money doesn't, you know, if you don't have a vibrant stock market and everything else, you know, you're going to lose money, and then you give it to your criminal friends where they either lose or steal your money. It's a ridiculous thing, but you're on your own nowadays. You really, really are. So that's my 2 cents, ABL. Thanks for getting to my call, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Great call. Shout out to you guys tonight. This was a fantastic show, but we're at the end. Thank y'all for being here. Could not do it without you. If you enjoyed tonight's show, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. This is also a podcast you're listening to right now. It'll be available audio only for free on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether they be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description. Or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. We got super chats to read right quick. Then I wrap it on up, put the bow clean on top. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for watching, super chat, and retweeting, whatever you're doing. I thank you. Shout out to all the mods for keeping the trolls nice and in check. I could not do this without you. Alrighty, we got a few supers here. Then I will put that bowl clean, smooth on top. Thank you to Queen of the Pen, who says, I grew up in the welfare-minded family. However, at a very young age, I knew that it wasn't going to be my life. Education, hard work, and faith were my standards. There we go. Thank you to Botk MIT, who says, ABL, how did Ivan get his name? Just wondering. Is that just what he calls himself, or did someone else? I have no idea. Thank you to Rock Evolution, who says, we need Ivan merch. Excuse me, Ivan. Absolutely not. Thank you for that. Thank you to Clown Shep 22, who says, curious, Ivan Caller, if the Africans were so technologically advanced for the Europeans, why did they not win a battle and prevent their people from being enslaved? It wasn't no battle. So it wasn't no war to fight. It wasn't even like that. It was one tribe conquered another tribe. This whole thing about African unity is fake as European unity. European unity is not a thing. It's the same thing as African unity is not a thing. Like, you got the Russians and Ukrainians who are the exact same people fighting each other right now. It's the exact same people fighting each other right now. It was the same thing happening in Africa. Thank you to Angie Warren, who says, what happened to that caller, the Anthony caller? Yeah, I don't know where he's at right now. He probably locked up. And thank you for Out a Reason, who says, the only thing I want to know about the Barbie movie is He-Man in there. Well, a great question. I have no idea, but I'm gonna check it out to see what's going on. I like to be aware of what's happening culturally, so I'll check it out for that purpose. But that will be a wrap for me. Thank y'all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. I'll be back live again on Wednesday. And of course, I'm here pretty much every single day putting out brand new, fresh, original content. But that will be it for tonight. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace. That was so unsmooth. Let's try that one more time. Y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.